welcome to the newest episode of Head Speaks, your home of all things geeky. I am your host, Aaron Brotherhead Moss. Let the show begin. Welcome, dear listeners, to Head Speaks, episode 76. Let's go ahead and get started.
Faster than a speeding bullet.
In the great hall of the Justice League,
Spider-Man and his amazing friends.
the Justice League of America versus the Legion of Doom. This is
What's in Head's Long Box?
Dedicated to truth, justice, and peace for all mankind. The world's greatest super friends.
Today we're back to looking at our coverage of Power of the Atom, and today we're looking at Power of the Atom number 15. The credits for this bad boy: the cover date was August of 1989. The on-sale date was June 27th, 1989. Cover price, $1. The title of this was called All in the Mind. Plotter, Roger Stern. It was actually written by Tom Robert Peyer. Artist, Graham Nolan. Letterer, Albert Tobias de Guzman. Colorist, Nancy Houlihan. Editor, Mike Carlin, or as we might say, Mike Super Carlin. He was the editor of the Superman books. The cover was done by Graham Nolan and Brett Breeding. Great combination. But speaking of the cover, let's take a look at it. The cover, we show the Atom, and he's surrounded and tied up by a bunch of colored, we're not quite sure what. Looks like string, or actually probably like rubber bands or something. There's something that's wrapped around his legs, his arm, his neck, holding him in place. And up on the top upper right-hand side of the panel or the cover is a little gray box of some sort, which we don't know at this point what it is. And the title says, "What Pits the Hum and Humbug?" So again, we have a little atom symbol in the upper left-hand corner. Fantastic cover. I remember this one. Like, what the heck is he wrapped up in? We get Nolan and Breeding sign the tubes or whatever that's wrapped around the Atom. That's what they look like, kind of like plastic tubing is what it looks like. Very curious. And the story itself starts with a X-ray of someone's head, and we see there's like a little metal miniature device in the base of his skull. And we get someone giving us a voiceover saying that we found something unusual in Anton Kraft's skull, gentlemen. If you turn your attention to the video display right there. So again, we see that apparently these are doctors looking at Anton Kraft, the gentleman that came to pay Ray, aka the Atom, a visit that got knocked out by Humbug. And apparently there's something in the skull. It's a very nice detailed drawing of a skull with the shape of the head around it. It's very nice. See the spinal column start and this little machine there, little device inside his skull. Almost like a pump with a, I can't think what the proper term is, like a little pump with a crank or something on it. But it's nicely done. It's fantastic drawing. I don't know who to give the credit to. I would assume as usual a combination between Grant Nolan and Nancy Houlihan's coloring on it. The color. It's just black and white, but again, she's got the nice, I'm assuming Nancy's, again, being the sexist, Nancy sounds like a female's name. Nancy's, if I'm pronouncing the name right. But anyways, nice shading. It looks like an X-ray of a skull, so it's a very great job on that. I know it's just one panel, it's just an X-ray, but you gotta give credit where credit's due. You see the lines in the skull like you normally see, the plates or whatever. It's just a very nice, the eyes are shadowed very nicely. Very nice. And then we got a doctor, some female, talking to Ray and Norm Brawler, explaining that they don't know what that device is, and that, again, with Ray's experience, maybe he's seen something like that. And he says that he's never encountered something like that. And he's wondering, what's this anything to do with his comb? He's like, well, no, the nasty bump to his head is what caused that. But the implant has him stumped. And Ray's saying he could go inside and take a look. But, is Kraft in any, condition to survive an intruder? And while they're talking, we cut outside to a truck called Ellicott Pharmacy, where we have Humbug with a wig and fake glasses and fake nose on, having some delivery men deliver some boxes. Well, the guy's like, hey, say, these are awfully light, mister. What do you got in 'em anyways? Oh, just a load of humbug. I like the little play on words there that, he's telling and we're going to find out. He's telling what's in the box, but it doesn't make no sense to them. So, and I love the drawing they do of Humbug. Again, I would rack it up both to the artist, Graham Nolan, and the colorist of Nancy Houlihan. They just do a fantastic job, and you can tell usually when it's Humbug. I mean, a lot of times it's hard to tell who people are in comics. One blonde guy looks like another brunette looks like a brunette. But you can tell Humbug has the sinister eyebrows going upward, and you can tell that he's wearing a fake glasses, and they're all fake, but you can tell he's wearing glasses with a fake nose. So just the grin that Humbug has on his face, fantastic. I love the art in this book. It's fantastic. I don't know which is better, the storytelling or the artwork in it. This is one of the books that consistently, in my opinion, for the most, I mean, there may have been a few clunkers here and there that I remember, some panels or something that didn't look right, but overall, it's consistently got a good story and good artwork in it. So we cut back to the doctor with Ray and Norm going into Kraft's room, as there's a man in there named Darwin with some woman named Anita, as they're running some sort of scan over Kraft, who's laying there unconscious. And the guy said he's with the Department of Scientific Investigation, and they're doing a federal inquiry. And apparently Anita Kaplan, the gal that's with him, is a psychologist that Ray's heard about. And the doctor's like, I don't care if you're Regis and Kathy Lee, I want you to leave now. Very timely reference. I mean, Kathy Lee's still on there, I believe. Oh, no, she's not. She left too. Yeah, both Regis and Kathy Lee are off the air. It was taken over by Michael and what's her face? I can't think of her name now, but I remember her from a soap opera all my children, my grandma used to watch. And I had to look it up, and apparently it was replaced with Kelly and Mark. That's Kelly Ripa, that's her name. And Mark Stratham, I believe it is. I say as I'm strolling through looking real quick. But yeah, not a show I watch, but I know of it. I've seen bits and pieces of it here, mainly at work when I'm walking through the cafeteria. It's on sometimes. But yeah, it's a very timely reference. And so the man, Darwin, doesn't actually introduce. Oh yeah, Darwin Jones says that he has the shield that gives him the right to stay where he's at. They're trailing an extremely dangerous lunatic, and so apparently some scanning they're doing with Kraft has to do with them tracking down Humbug. And again, he's like, well, I'm kind of calm you down. He's doing who knows what to, And the doctor's like, then arrest him, or go arrest him. Listen, no badge gives you the right to run your phony scan on my patient without my consent. But since I obviously lack the clout to impress you, I'll be back in 2 minutes with the chief of staff. And she storms out. It's a little black cloud over her head showing the anger. I love that little black cyclone over their head showing their anger. We see her just storming out. And you can tell just from this drawing here on the bottom of page 3, she is storming out with a purpose. That woman is on a mission, and you can tell it in the artwork. I love it. It's fantastic. Even if you didn't have the dialogue, you don't know where she's going, but you know she's going somewhere important and in a hurry. And then Ray goes into, again, the doctor, or the doctor guy, whatever you want to call him, ask how Ray knows Dr. Kraft. And again, Ray goes back into the origins we talked about, not the origins, but their first encounter. Again, we have a little note here that says in Showcase 36, just in case you want to go back. Again, one thing I miss a lot of newer comics don't do anymore is give you reference to these old comics. And nowadays when they do, they give you reference to the trade paperback, which I've got a lot of trades. I like trade paperbacks, but as an old school fan, I love referencing the original issues. But that's just me. But anyways, I do love these scenes. It's like I say, it's in a black and white. It's like scales of blue coloring. The flashback of Ray knocking out the guy that was after Kraft. And then we get a scene, again, in the blue flashback coloring of Kraft showing up, passing out because of Humbug knocking him down, not passing out, but getting knocked out by Humbug. And again, it gives a little reference here that happened in Power of the Atom 10 and 14, as far as Ray's previous encounters with Humbug, because he tells, I've tangled with that creature twice now. And they reference Power of the Atom 10 and 14, which I won't comment on that again, but yeah, we've covered those here in the recent past on Power of the Atom, on Head Speaks. That's what it is. Power of the Atom's the comic. And the woman, and so I was talking about how I love the artwork on this book, on this issue. Here on the top of page 5, and again, I understand Graham Nolan's doing the entire artwork himself. And I don't know if it's the artwork or the coloring or both, but here this top couple panels is a little off. There's a panel where she's saying, "Well, I'm sorry, but to divulge our findings at this stage, it might ruin the risk of jeopardizing international security." And the Norm starts going off. These top two panels look a little shaky. When the woman's talking, the entire background's black, and there's like a white border around the characters to separate them from the background. I don't want to say it's lazy, but it's a little lazy, I think. And I understand that he's doing the whole book himself, and I'm not sure how many books Graham was doing this month, but it is what it is. And then Norm on the next panel looks a little shaky there, but overall, this art on this book is strong. And I'm going to comment here in the next couple panels about that. But these two panels are about the weakest in the book, in my opinion. So, but when you got, 22 pages with, anywhere from, the one panel to 6 or 9 panels on a page, just a couple panels out of the book being bad, ain't too shaky, kids. So ain't too bad, kids, I want to say. And so Ray drags Norm out, and as they walk out, they see we're going to call him an orderly or someone walking down the hall, maybe a janitor type guy. He's got a red shirt, short sleeve shirt with blue jeans on, pushing a cart with like a mop and other cleaning supplies. And the shadow going up against the wall kind of looks like he has horns, which kind of clues you in that maybe this is Humbug, which I like the nice little foreshadowing here. Is that foreshadowing? I'm not really good at those sometimes, but the illusion here that this guy walking down the corridor isn't who he may seem to be. And as they go down to the elevator, I'm assuming, I don't know if it's an elevator, there's a picture in there, and it looks like an elevator because of this close little way Ray's standing. I think it's an elevator. Ray changes into the Atom. Like I say, one panel, it's just Ray and Norm standing there. Next panel, you have the Atom standing next to Norm. And because Norm's going off about how, he doesn't believe these guys that come in with their little badge and flashlight, their ID card. Well, maybe I'm overreacting. Ray changes. He's like, maybe you're not. But you said, why, Norman Brawler, you don't tell me about that crock of baloney. He's like, go home and rest. I'll call you as soon as I find out these two are hiding. So Ray dips back in the room, and as he comes flying in, it looks like he comes flying in a window. We have the gentleman using a gun, it looks like almost, like a ray gun on Kraft's head. And he says that Kraft's comatose babble is fading from Gesalt. And we've heard the Gesalt before. I think Kraft mentioned it as someone that was approaching the Atom. I forget the context, but I believe Kraft said he was with the Gesalt or coming from the Gesalt or something like that. And the woman says that she can feel his mind is completely disconnected from and as she's speaking, like I say, the Atom jumps in, knocks the ray gun out of the guy's hand. And and I like, let me see. The woman's like, he's almost completely disconnected from and Ray pops in, kicks the gun out, and he's like, sorry, but Anton's mind is disconnected enough as it is. Let's work on yours. And he grabs the guy's tie, grains his full weight, and just pulls him down to the side railing. And the one's like, stop, you have no right to interfere. He's like, I think I do. And about that time, the janitor, I guess it was, from the hallway comes in, pulling his nose and glasses off, saying, and again, he's always with the quips. How heartwarming to see my dearest friends getting on so well. And do forgive my eavesdropping. I guess I'm just naturally nosy. Well, not naturally. As he throws his glasses, and Ray's like, oh, I've seen these glasses, knows what it can do before. I can't let this happen in the hospital. So he takes it and throws it out the window. And here on top of page 8, and again, I've said this before, I'll say it again. I love that these pages are numbered. It makes it easier to talk about. Top of page 8, part of the wall explodes. Boom. Throwing shrapnel inside the room. And so Ray, he doesn't want to leave these two alone, but he's got to stop this lunatic. And I love the size changing Atom symbol or whatever you want to call it. It goes around Atom as he grows bigger, as he takes off. And again, Humbug, he's like, hey, tell me why so many people are scared of hospitals. Me, I love them. There's so much to do here. Catch, as he pushes a gurney with this old black lady on it. And Ray stops the gurney. Are you all right, ma'am? Don't you fret over me, Sonny. Just get your butt after that jerk. I love this is an old woman. She was white. She could almost pass as Aunt May. That's how old she looks. Because again, for those of Spider-Man fame, or Spider-Man that read the comics back in the day, Aunt May was always portrayed as an older woman, not young, hot Marissa Tomei. But that's another complaint. But yeah, I do love this old lady. She's like, well, don't you worry about me. See, you'll get that jerk. Oh, fantastic. We here in the middle, we got a page for the nice subscription club for Mile High Comics. And apparently, if your total shipments in the account reach $50 or more, they'll send you a trade paperback of Batman, greatest Batman stories ever told. So again, a monthly subscription service to get you to buy comics from them. And like I say, they're giving out a free trade paperback of the greatest Batman stories ever told. I think I had that book at one point. Not through them, I bought it on my own. But good book. Anyways, and so Ray comes busting in this operating room where a doctor or nurse or somebody's like, another one? And it must be a nurse, yeah, because the doctor's like, pay attention, nurse, this phase is critical. And again, Humbug standing on top of a machine going, hey, Shrip, check out this neat playground. It's got everything. A jungle gym, trapeze, exposed internal organs. And Ray's like, the Atom is like, doctor's like, suggest you move your patient out of here as quickly as possible. The doctor's he's all indignant. He's like, I got a better idea. Why don't you leave so I can save this man's life? And again, just the doctor's like, get out of here. I'm trying to do work here. Meanwhile, Humbug's jumping around, kind of like a Daredevil. He's not Daredevil, but a Deadpool type. Always cracking wise, jumping around. And again, this is a couple years before Deadpool showed up. So, but again, I'm just laughing at this page here on page 9, this panel. We got people in the I forget what you call it, where they watch the operation going on, watching it looks like Humbug's hanging on a pole, acting like a monkey, scratching his underarm and swinging his legs around. And say, I hate your guts. Oh, do tell me, Humbug. Every time I hit you, you shrink out of sight. And I have to go looking for you and everything. And again, so at the bottom of page 9, he kicks at Ray, kicking him. We see a bonk. And the top page where he says you're shrink out of sight, we see the Atom symbol as Ray shrinks out of sight. And the Atom lands on the patient's chest, and apparently the doctor is just finishing with the laser scalpel. So Ab's like, can I borrow this real quick? And he zaps Humbug as Humbug leaps at him, just blasting, killing, in quotes, the Humbug, catching on fire. And the doctor's like, you killed him. Not this tiny laser. No, he's just hamming it up. Probably sends mine to another one of his artificial bodies, too. Lord knows where. And the doctor's like, well, Atom, I'll be sure to inform our patient how you helped us today. And I hope he tells his attorneys. And again, so yes, the doctor's kind of perturbed that, Ray and the Atom and Humbug came busting into the operating room. But Ray's just trying to stop the bad guys. So, if he wasn't there, who knows what he would have done. But Ray's, oh, great, something else to worry about after I find Humbug. As he goes walk into a scrub room, Humbug comes jumping out of one of the boxes. And he's like, I bet you're certainly congratulating yourself over that scalpel trick. Well, Shorty, you still haven't done a thing to me. I've got bodies hidden all over this hospital. And he takes like an air tank and pets it to his ear and starts blowing himself up like a comical thing you would like in a cartoon. And it starts expanding and floating in the air. So it must be helium, probably oxygen in the hospital. It just starts rising in the air as he starts filling with air. And he just explodes. He's telling Ray, I don't care what happens to any of them, any of the bodies he has. And it explodes like a balloon popping. And then we cut to Missouri, where we have the 2 CIA agents that I think it was Humbug, if I remember right, sent on a wild goose chase. And basically they're complaining about how the company's going to be pissed off if they think they deserted. And they're blaming Ray for this. They think it's the Atom's fault that they're got diverted. And apparently they're both broke. So as a cop comes in and says, are you guys buying this stolen car? You got more to worry about than being out of money. And as he pulls his gun out, one of the guys kicks him, knocks the gun out, and they take his gun and rob the store and take off in the car, saying that they're going to go pay a call on the Atom. So again, they're blaming Ray for them being snookered and driven out to the middle of nowhere. And again, the CIA think they abandoned him. And, well, again, they're going to show up later on. Not this issue, but they'll show up later on to cause more trouble for our hero, I'm sure. Speaking of hero, we cut back to the hospital where they're evacuating patients. And apparently they're getting some more of the laser, what do you call them? Just lasers. They're getting some more from IVU. People got some of the doctors and people have them going around hunting down humbugs. And the rest of the police are they're told to use their guns to shoot the bodies. He's like, if you find a humbug box, try that again. You find humbug or a body box, shoot without hesitation. He's not human. As Ray turns on the two and the I forget their name now. Darwin, there you go. Darwin, and I think it was Annette or Anita, whatever her name is. Tell you two tell me about the Dassaults. And it's Anton. Darwin's like, about what? Tell him, Darwin, this has gone far. This has gone too far. And so we get kind of the origins of the Dassault. Apparently, these are smart people. Kraft, Anita, Darwin, a few others created this device, a computer, that they implant in each of them. And allows them to share their intelligence, kind of like a hive mind. And they find that as they're using this, they're thinking, some of them are having terrible thoughts, thinking evil thoughts. It's like the worst of humanity and stuff is cropping up in their mind. And so again, they come up with a way to remove all this nasty thoughts and bad stuff, and they shuttle away into its own little consciousness, I guess. Apparently it was they call it a chaotic program that was growing spontaneously within the computer. So they isolated it, built it a body to store it in, and so basically they're meant that they created humbug as all their worst traits, if you will. Kind of like, very loosely, movie Twins, where Arnold Schwarzenegger is all the good genetics and all the crap genetics was dumped into Danny DeVito. Kind of loosely the same principle. All the bad thoughts are shoved into this robotic or this artificial body that they call humbug. And again, they say they thought they destroyed it, but apparently not. They had he had some extra bodies hidden around, and they say he wasn't supposed to attack you. He was merely supposed to gauge his interest in joining them in the Dassaults. Oh, maybe it's just me, but yeah, sending the person that you shove all your bad ideas into, probably not a good idea to send him to gauge someone's interest in joining your Dassault, because maybe it's just me. And then here, as they're talking on page 16, Ray shrinks down, and because again, I guess they're trying to do it now that Kraft's brain is not polluting their conscience anymore. Darwin's trying to see if there's any more bodies or how many more bodies are around. And Adam's like, well, I'm not going to wait on you. I'm going to get looking. And so he shrinks down. Again, I love when he shrinks down. I love the artwork on this. It's fantastic. And then we go to a police officer getting surprised by a box with one of Humbug's bodies jumping out of it, and he shoots it. And then instantly, Humbug pops to another body, another box, in another room where a scientist has a laser. And again, the scientist isn't a trained professional. So Humbug's able to take this guy out. He flattens himself and just almost like a blanket covers him. And next thing we know, he comes walking out in the lab coat with the laser as Ray comes flying out of a vent. Humbug's like, hey, Adam, guess what? I've got the laser now. So tell me, little buddy, how many bodies do you have? And he tries shooting at him. And again, I love Humbug's humor and just the way he's always cracking wise. And as Ray pelts him one, he's like, one, and that's enough. And again, here Ray expands really quick and grabs Humbug. And again, I love, as I just said, I love Ray's expanding. We got the atom energy ring around him as he expands. And again, Humbug's switching through these bodies like nobody's business. And so the atom, he blasts out once they won't use it. And we cut to the room where Kraft is with a cop and an orderly or doctor or somebody. And in the room is a wheelchair with a box sitting behind it. I don't know. To me, it's kind of silly to let the box sit there in the room. No one had apparently seen this box. I think that was a misstep somewhere, that it looks like it's just sitting in the room behind the wheelchair. It seems like they would have searched this room that Kraft's in first, seeing how Kraft is the one that Humbug's after. I don't know. I just, that's a little pet. I was going to say pet peeve. I don't know if pet peeve is the right word. So one part of the scene that I think is out of whack. That's not quite what it should be, but I understand that they wanted to get Humbug in the room right away, and that was the best way they came to do it. But I think the writer kind of dropped the ball on that portion of it. But again, as they're talking, the orderly's saying, well, I don't know why they're moving all these people. This guy shouldn't even be out of bed. And Humbug pops up. He's like, I'm the reason, boys. Ask people who should have stayed in bed. I mean, you should talk, as he throws the cop into the orderly or the doctor, whoever this is. And so Humbug's confronting Croft, and he's like, hey, Dad, you in there? They say you coma victims understand every word you hear. I hope so, because there's something I'd like to say to you. Eat death, chump. And as he starts to try to kill Anton, Adam goes in, shrinks down, and goes inside of Humbug's head, it looks like. And this is where we get, again, I've talked about this before, and I believe on this show and other shows. I love when the cover is a scene from the book, and here we get in the middle of the page, we get the scene from the cover where Ray's inside pulling wires, and the wires start wrapping around him. I mean, he's got the cable wrapped around his neck and his legs, and not around his arms at this point, but this panel here is almost from the cover. So that makes the cover even better, because I say it's a scene from the actual book. It's not just some pinup art. But again, it's the Atom. He shrunk down out of that, and he's like, well, I'm not doing much good here. They keep zapping me. I can't shrink down any further, otherwise I won't do any good at all. There's only one way to go from here, and that's up. So he expands really big, ripping out of Humbug, just tearing this body apart. And back in the late 80s, early 90s, I used to play the DC role-playing game with some friends of mine. And one of them would use his powers to turn into a dust mite, fly into someone's body, like their ear or nose or whatever, and then expand and basically do the same thing. I had to come up with a limitation of that, because you turn into a dust mite, fly into someone's ear, and then expand and just crush them. So not the proper way for a hero to act, but my friends are a little bit psychotic. Whereas the term is now murder hobos, but that's another story entirely. But I do like Adam was able just to rip his way out of the costume, the body, by growing really large, back to normal size, and just tearing his way through. And apparently the cops searched the entire place, couldn't find any more bodies. And Dr. Jones, Darwin, he said he's checked and rechecked. Result reads no bodies in here, none anywhere. And so Ray's like, well, where does that leave Humbug? Nowhere. Without a compatible vessel to contain it, the motivating force can only dissipate. Humbug's gone, Adam. There's no place for it to go. And the last panels here, as they're talking, we see them in the background, and we're focused the last two panels here on page 21 is focusing on a computer monitor, and we see like a blink on the monitor. I don't know if the monitor's going off or what is, but it's basically letting us know that apparently Humbug has more than likely gone into the computer, which again, he was a rogue program, so I don't see why they wouldn't think about him going into the computer, but this was early days for computers, and people probably just didn't think of it. Plus, he is an out if Humbug shows up later on. I don't recall, it's been 30, 40 years I've read these books. I don't think he recalls anymore in the Atom. In fact, I don't think he shows up anywhere else that I've seen offhand. But as we'll be discussing here in a few minutes, we're getting ready to enter the final story arc of the Atom next issue. So, and as he's saying goodbye, they're both the members of the Dassault here, telling Adam goodbye, and they're like, I know you turned down the CIA, but we'd love if you'd like to join us. And Ray's like, join you? Since I came back to the state, it seems like everyone has plans for me. And I'm starting to get tired of it. Here we get a close-up of Ray's face, and we see Jean's face, and members of the Justice League, the CIA, people that's been trying to, because this entire last 15 issues, different people have been approaching Ray, trying to get him to join their group, either the CIA, the Justice League, or whatever it may be. So, again, he says he's tired of it, and he's like, for the first time, thanks to you, someone's been hurt as a result. You know what scares me? I don't think it'll be the last time. And as Ray turns to leave, Darwin's like, and the lady's like, never mind, Darwin. I'm afraid Dassault has blundered again, as the Atom walks out of the building. Very nice story. We get the next issue blurb here. It says, Shepard, Fields, and the truth the CIA could not suppress. Renegades, next issue. Another great issue. I love this series. I'm sad that it was only 18 issues. And again, it's coming to an end. As it says in the next issue box by Casey Carlson, it's the first part of the last trilogy in Power of the Atom, where they welcome Tom Pure aboard as writer, and signals the return of Kaz Wilson to the pages. And again, they ask what you think about Graham Nolan finishing his own work this month. Again, I thought Graham Nolan did a great job doing his other couple. Like I said, there was a couple of panels that wasn't quite so happy with, but overall I enjoyed. I love here on page 20 where Adam is growing and ripping out of Humbug's body. That's fantastic. That's almost poster worthy. It's a splash page. It's fantastic. I love the artwork in this book. Like I said, there's been a few blunders, or not necessarily even blunders per se, but a few missteps here and there along the way. But overall, I thoroughly enjoyed the artwork in this book. And again, I'm sad we're down to the last 3 issues over the next couple of months here. So, but that's going to do it for Power of the Atom, number 15. What do you guys think? Send me an email to head@headspeaks.com. Again, email me at head@headspeaks.com. Let me know what you think. But we're going to go ahead and stop this for now. Not stop it. We're going to take a break. I'm going to play some promos, and we'll be back with the second episode of Retrospective of the 80s. Head Speaks will be back after these important messages.
Ladies and gentlemen, the Beatles!
Hi, I'm Tim from Cord Industries, the Blue Beetle blog. I'm here to tell you about an exciting new addition to the Silver and Gold family of podcasts. The show is Beatlemania, and it focuses on what is arguably one of the greatest superheroes in all of comics history, Blue Beetle. From the adventures of Dan Garrett the cop in the 1930s to Dan Garrett the archaeologist in the 1960s. From everyone's favorite Ted Kord to the more recent adventures of Jaime Reyes. We'll be covering the entire legacy of the Blue Beetle, and I won't be doing it alone. Joining me for this epic journey through the lives of the Blue Beetle will be Jay from the Silver and Gold podcast. Together, we'll be discussing, reviewing, and celebrating the awesomeness of all of the Beatles. Beatlemania, coming soon to sngpod.com and cordindustries.blogspot.com.
Oh, hi, Dr. Sterner.
Hello, Paul. How are you doing these days?
Yeah, I'm good. Since you, cured me of my DC OCD, I've got so much more time on my hands. It's been for the best.
Well, personally and professionally, I'm quite proud of what we have achieved, but I have some bad news for you, Paul.
Oh? What?
There's something missing without your DC OCD there.
Oh.
I've even heard friends of yours been saying you're basic, a little boring. There's no there there.
Oh, well, what should we do about it?
My God, I hate to have to say this, but we have to go bring it back somehow.
Well, shall we do some more sessions and I can use them to talk about DC events that we haven't covered, like Dark Crisis and Fear State, those sorts of things?
I think that might be for the best, Paul. Let's reconvene in 2024 for more sessions of DC OCD.
And that'll make me interesting?
We will see, Paul. We will see.
It's a small world after all. It's a small world.
Great comics come in all shapes and sizes.
Coming soon from the Fire and Water Podcast Network.
It's Digest Cast, a new show dedicated to our beloved pocket-sized treasures from that bygone era of the 70s and 80s.
Hosted by the Fire and Water Podcast team of Rob and Shag, and we'll be joined from time to time by special guests.
It's Digest Cast, because big things come in small packages.
Coming soon to the Fire and Water Podcast Network.
And now back to Head Speaks. Hope you enjoyed those promos. Now let's go ahead and get started with the next episode of Retrospective of the 80s. Again, keep in mind, me and Michelle, sorry, Mrs. Welk, Michelle and I recorded this probably a year or two ago. I'm trying to think. Yeah, it's been a while. So the sound's not as great. It was older mics. Had a little bit of noise going on, but hope you enjoy for what it is. And so again, I've edited this down. I've cleaned it up best I could. I'm throwing in the pre-recorded segment we recorded previously in here. And current Aaron, present day Aaron, will join you on the other side of... Welcome to Retrospective of the 80s.
Hi, Michelle here. Welcome to the second episode of Retrospective of the 80s. This time, Aaron and I are going to open up our own childhood toy boxes that we wished we never had gotten rid of, and take a look at some of the most fantastic toys that the 80s gave us. So sit back, relax, take a trip with us down memory lane.
Hey there, Aaron here. So, when I think of the 80s, some of the toys I think about, and again, this really started in the late 70s, but to me, Star Wars is one of the big toys from the 80s. Because again, the first 2 waves, I had almost all the toys, the action figures. We were opening them up at Christmas time. My mom would buy them, and she would pull them out of the package and put like a half a dozen or more in a big box, wrap like a newspaper, and put in a bigger box, and have to dig through the box and pull all these little figures out.
So wait a minute. She took them out?
Yes.
Of the package?
Yep. Yeah.
You know how many people are cringing right now?
Well, yeah, this was back in the 70s, early 80s.
You know,
so, yeah,
I'm cringing right now.
We all pulled them out, played with them, and pew, pew, pew. So, you know.
You know, my best friend, his name's Neil, and we used to joke, and he's like, so, how does your gun go? I'm like, bang, bang. He's like, no, it's pew, pew, pew. I'm like, okay. Like, what is that supposed to mean? He's like, come on, Michelle, Star Wars. I'm like, oh, yeah, okay, never mind. I get it. So, yeah, I stand corrected.
But technically, I guess that's a toy of the 78. Star Wars came out in 77. I think the toys came out the next year, so it was like 78. But, yeah, I got them late 78, or late 70s, like 79 and early 80s. So, to me, that's... And again, Star Wars, well, it started in the late 70s. The other 2 movies came out in the 80s. So, to me, Star Wars in general is an 80s franchise.
80s toy, yeah. When you say Star Wars toys, instantly my head goes, my mom had a friend who had a son, and we used to go over there all the time, and this kid had a bedroom, and I wish I knew if he still had his Star Wars toys, because if he did, he probably could buy the Playboy Mansion. And that's no joke. The kid had shelving units built around his room just for his Star Wars toys that were still in boxes because he would not let you touch them. And I would go into his room, and I was a lot younger than him because I'm sure he was like in, I don't know, 7th, 8th grade or whatever the case may be. But his whole room was a shrine. I'm not even saying like toys that you could play with, a shrine. And he had the comforters, anything you could imagine Star Wars. And I loved Star Wars as the little girl. And I wanted to play with his toys. And the moment I walked in his room, it was, don't touch anything. So I would always just leave his room, very sad. Still to this day, I in my head, I can still picture his room because it was so amazing to me as a little kid. It was like going into KB Toy Store, or that was in the 80s thing right there, KB Toy Store, or Toys R Us.
Yep.
It's like shopping in his room of just Star Wars.
There used to be a KB Toy Store there at the Merced Mall.
There's one in the Clovis Mall too. But yeah, R.I.P. KB Toy Store.
R.I.P. Toys R Us.
Yeah. But I guess they're coming back online.
What I heard.
Yeah.
They're supposed to be opening new stores or something. I don't know exactly what's going on, but I heard supposedly. But yeah, I had all the figures from the first 2 movies, and I only had a few of the play sets. I maybe had a droid factory where you build droids, and I had the Dagobah play set.
Did you ever send any of those box ones in?
No, not for Star Wars.
No.
For Miller stuff.
Yeah.
No, I never did do any of the mail-in things for Star Wars.
I wonder if any of the listeners ever did.
Did you guys know? I know there was like the Palpatine glow one. There was a couple of others I remember seeing. I don't remember what they were now. I'd have to look up and see. But yeah, not even mail away for those. I did for G.I. Joe.
I'm sure you did.
Later on, but I didn't want to bug my mom and ask her to mail something away, so I just took what toys I got and was happy.
Wow. And also, if you guys don't know about Aaron, his birthday is on Christmas Eve, so he always got double the presents. So
I have to explain that to my brother. My brother be upset. Why has Aaron got more presents than I do? Mom, that's because it's his birthday also. You'll get your presents in a couple months on your birthday.
So what other toys you got in that toy box of yours?
Another one I have is the Clash of the Titans.
I don't know what that is. I know there's a movie.
Oh yeah, there was a movie back in the I want to say early 80s.
Oh, you mean when I was like 3?
Yeah.
4?
In fact, I'm pulling it up real quick to check. I didn't think to check. It came out. That's not the right one. And they did the remake is 2010.
Okay.
Oh, there it is, 81. Yeah, Clash of the Titans came out in 1981.
Those.
So you're like 4.
I was 4.
You were 4.
Oh, okay. No wonder.
But yeah, me and my brother had figures from Clash of the Titans. Because as I was talking with somebody, who are we talking to? Maybe it's just me and you talking about. I think it was me and you sitting on the couch talking about how the 80s were made for toys and tying into movies and TV shows.
Yes, we were explaining that to our daughter, actually.
That's what, yeah, we have a 12-year-old daughter. I was going to say 11, but she just turned 12.
Yesterday.
In real time, so.
Yeah, on the 19th of April.
But yeah, and I think I had, I'm trying to remember the character's name now. It was the bad guy. I'm looking here on, IMDb, trying to find his name, but I can't find him. Thalio, maybe? I heard the bad guy. Probably got here to the, Calibos. There, yeah, it was Calibos. He has his son. Yeah, so Calibos was the character I had. He was the cloven-hooved, demon-looking creature. And then I think my brother had Perseus, if I'm not mistaken. But no, I forgot about that. Yeah, Maggie Smith, the gal that plays on the Harry Potter movies, the good teacher. What's her face?
Miss McGonagall?
Yes. Yeah, she was in that.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Yes.
Wow, she's really old.
Thetis? Yeah, she was...
I didn't know she was that old.
Yeah, the character I had, she played his mom.
Oh, okay. Wow, she's very old.
So, yeah, Harry Hamlin played Perseus. Burgess Meredith was in that.
I don't know who that is either. Sorry.
Yeah, you do. The Penguin.
Huh?
The Penguin.
Oh, yes, I do.
Yes, the old Batman TV show.
Okay, I liked him.
But yeah, we had a few. And I think we had the Kraken also.
Bring on the Kraken.
Yeah, that's where it's from.
Oh, is that what it's from?
Yes.
See, it's weird that I know all this, like, weird things and I have no clue where it's coming from.
It was a 4-arm creature, if I'm not mistaken.
Huh.
But yeah, we had the Kraken. I had Calibos, and I think Jerry Lee had I think he had Perseus, if I'm not mistaken. We didn't have the whole set. I don't remember there was. But
did you watch the movie? Is that why you got the set?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, okay. So you liked the movie?
Oh yeah, I love the movie.
Well, maybe it's something we'll have to watch.
I don't know if it's aged quite as well now, but I'd have to
I'm
rewatch
sure it hasn't.
I personally, just because I'm old, I like the older one better than the newer one. The newer one looks too polished, too CGI. Where the older one, well, it wasn't CGI, it was stop motion, and it was just great. It was pure 80s.
Yeah.
Yeah, just looking real quick. Yeah, I'm looking at toysyouhad.com. Yeah, there's Perseus.
Wow, those toys.
Calibos, that's one I had. Calibos.
Those toys are,
There's Charon, the boat driver. Fallow. We only had those two. There was a Pegasus.
Wow.
Oh, there you go. There's the Kraken.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, had the Kraken.
It looks like a monkey. It kind of looks like a...
It's like a lizard.
Kind of looks like something... I'm not going to even go there. But I'll just leave my comments to myself, but...
Yeah, something I have to watch.
Sure.
Well, I'm sure much like Beastmaster, you'll
oh,
ridicule
gosh.
It, but at the time, again, this was stop motion.
We won't touch on Beastmaster.
We will.
Oh, Jesus.
We will at some point. But yeah, that was the toys. We had the Kraken. I remember that. And yeah, I think we had Perseus and Calibos were the two figures we had. Yeah, and I love that movie back in the 80s. That was fantastic.
I'm very sorry.
Yeah, you hush. But yeah, no, they remade it as they had Clash of the Titans, and there was a second one, a sequel to it.
You mean they made more?
Well, they had the original Clash of the Titans back in 81, and then in 2010 they remade it.
Oh.
They did a remake.
Because Hollywood can't think of anything original
everything's
anymore.
Remakes anymore. Yeah, remakes, rehash, reboots. Wrath of the Titans was the sequel.
Oh.
I don't remember if I saw that one or not. That came out in 2012.
You're an old man. You're not going to want to go see anything that's remade of something
I might, though I enjoyed the first one. I enjoyed the original better than the remake.
Though you have seen, well, that's superhero stuff, so you're going to go see it anyway.
Yes.
So.
What?
I was going to say, you won't. Never mind.
But yeah, I watched the remake of the Clash of Titans because I'm a big fan of the original movie, but...
Okay. Well, let's save that for our movie stuff. Let's go ahead and move on to talk about something else. Let's talk about some more toys.
We got there from the toys.
I know.
Speaking of
I'm just
toys,
keeping you on track.
I need it.
Yeah, I know.
Well, what do you have from me?
No, you keep talking for a little bit because this is kind of funny. I'll get to mine.
See, I'm stalling for time.
Because you're still looking at more stupid Clash of Titans crap.
No, I'm not.
Okay, what are you looking at?
trying to remember when the toys came out for Star Trek, because I had some of this stuff. I'm not sure those were 80s or that
You
was...
watched Star Trek as a kid?
A little bit. Yeah.
I
wasn't religious into Star Trek, but I guess it came out in 1980. So it does fall into the 80s. Yeah, I had the...
Well, I mean, Star Trek's been around since, like, the 60s.
Yeah,
so,
the 60s.
I mean, of course they had toys in the 80s for Star Trek.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I was trying to remember the toys I had was the 70s or the 80s.
All right, fine. You do your research. I'll talk.
They had... Well, I can talk about it because I'm just trying to think. Yeah, I think it was early 80s they got it. I had the Captain Kirk figures. There was... Oh, I forget her name now. There was a bald chick. I had that action figure. I think my mom picked them up on clearance or something. Something like my mom. But I got the ones that you don't really see.
Did you try to hook up with Barbie?
No, I didn't have any Barbies.
Oh.
Yeah, Star Trek. And I had the Enterprise.
Wow.
Enterprise Bridge.
Wow.
Play sets. I'm just trying to find a picture of. Oh, there it is. That's kind of what it looked like.
That's cool.
U.S. Enterprise had a rotating for the beam, the beam that you send
the tractor beam. The tractor beam.
Not tractor beam. It would send them to the different planets.
Oh.
It's not tractor beam. It's the.
Oh, not the tractor beam. What do you call it?
My mind's turned off. But anyways, you put a character in there, and there's a little dot on the top you would turn to make it rotate to make him teleport. Teleporter.
There you go.
Jesus, I just couldn't think of that.
It's late.
But yeah, you put the character in the teleporter and spin the little thing on the top, and he would spin around to the back, and he would teleport
cute.
away. Yeah, I had that, and I just had a couple of the figures. I forget her name now. There was a bald chick. If you guys out there knew what I'm talking about, let me know.
Very cool.
Yeah, that came out in the early 80s, so that would fall into where we're talking about.
So my first early 80s toy that I'm going to talk about that really represents the 80s, and I'm talking probably one of my earliest birthday presents that I remember is for my 4th or 5th birthday, I would say, is my strawberry shortcake stuff. And I had a lot of it. I even had a little dress. My mom had it. I think it was like a little blue dress with like ruffles and an apron. It had little strawberry shortcake, but I had this little play set, and it was shaped like a little strawberry, and when you opened it up, it was a bakery. And you had all these little strawberries that you could put in, and then strawberry shortcake would make little strawberry pies. It was really super cute. And I had all the little strawberry shortcake figures. So there was like lemon meringue and Huck, I forget the little boy's name, but
Huckleberry Pie.
No,
wasn't it, or?
No, but my favorite one was apricot something. I'm gonna have to look it up. But the strawberry shortcake toys I had tons of them, and I had different play sets too. But I had the favorite one definitely was the little berry cottage, and they actually came back out with it later on, and they came back with it and they redid it, and I wish I would have bought it over again. They had the purple pieman, and then and what was really cute about like the little bakery thing is it had a little stove in it. So it had like a little stove, and the little stove opened up. And it had like, you could put little pies in it. And then when the flap came down, it had another like little shelf where you put like the little pies in. And it was really, really cute. And then apple dumpling, there was like, they all had like little pets that went with it. So strawberry shortcake had a little pink cat. And the cat's name was Custard. Apple dumpling had a little turtle. And they all smelled really good. And they kept their scent forever. Like, it was one of those things that they just kept their scents forever. Then later on in the 80s, they came up with, like, the big dolls, the big strawberry shortcake dolls. And they had their baby dolls. But I never had one of those. I didn't like them that much, because by then I was into Cabbage Patch Kids, so I didn't get one of those. And I always thought they were kind of creepy. So I didn't get that. What was really weird about strawberry shortcake, and this is kind of funny, if you took off the strawberry shortcake hat, she looked like she was bald.
She had a receding hairline.
Yes, a receding hairline. A really bad receding hairline.
Yeah, she had a receding hairline.
So it was kind of weird. So, but I, as I got older, started collecting strawberry shortcake stuff. When I moved out from my first apartment, I decided to do a strawberry shortcake theme. kitchen.
Right.
So I got like a strawberry shortcake spice rack. And I also started collecting the strawberry shortcake cups that they had from Pizza Hut back in the day. So I have all of those. And I also have all the Care Bear cups that Pizza Hut did back in the day. Back in the 80s. You remember those?
I used to have a bunch of those glasses.
Yes.
Back in the 80s from 7-Eleven and Pizza Hut and McDonald's. Yeah, I used to have a bunch of those.
So I actually own the full collection of the Care Bear cups. I got them on eBay. I actually have the full collection, which is hard to find because I even got the like rarer ones from eBay. So I have strawberry shortcake salt and pepper shakers, which we still use up in the cupboard, which I am surprised they've went through so far 4 kids and they've not broke. I have glassware and a bunch of other stuff with strawberry shortcake. So that's my rendition of strawberry shortcake. But yeah, so that would be something, strawberry shortcake wise. Then you have another early 80s thing, of course, would be, I would say, I don't know.
Language.
Yeah, seawees. No one knows what the hell these things are. They're these little SEAWEES. They're called seawees. They are these plastic little mermaid things. And if you look at them, they're expensive as all get up on eBay. They're these plastic little, aren't they? How much is that? Like $74?
$79 for that one. This one's $199.
$199 for this little 80s toy that's maybe like an inch and a half tall.
That looks vaguely familiar.
Isn't that insane?
Yeah, I think I've seen those somewhere.
Look at that one, doesn't even have a face, and they want $13 for it.
Yeah. Vintage 1979 Kenner Seas.
They're from Kenner.
$13.
Yeah.
Used. Yeah, very used.
Yeah, very
used. What?
They're these plastic mermaid dolls. They're rubber with hair.
That looks vaguely familiar from somewhere. I never had one.
I had one. I had one here, but I lost it just recently.
I don't know.
I bought one on eBay one time or whatever because I wanted one really bad because I wanted a seaweed. And now I lost it. I think my daughter chewed it up or something like that. But
probably.
The seaweeds, I had a bunch of them in the bathtub. They're like bathtub toys. And they're just these little plastic or rubber mermaids with hair that you could play in the bathtub with, and I absolutely loved them. So those are my 2 that I'm going to talk about right now, and I'll pass the mic on to you if you want to talk about the next thing.
Well, the next thing I would talk about that's big for me in the 80s, the next big thing for me would be G.I. Joe.
No.
Yes.
No, you don't. You can't.
Though again, I didn't get into G.I. Joe came out in 1982. I watched the cartoon when it was out, but I didn't get into the action figures till like 86, 87.
So like when you were like in high school?
Yeah.
So it's kind of like, Spaceballs. No, sir, I did not see you playing with your dolls, sir.
Pretty much, yeah. I'd be sitting on the weekend playing my toys and, my little dolls. And they're action figures, not dolls, big enough. The 60s had dolls. I had action figures.
Sure. You keep telling yourself that.
So Hasbro said. Hey, boys, they want dolls, they wanted action figures.
Well,
but again, those are definitely an 80s toy. I got to the very end of the 80s, but I went back and bought a lot of the earlier ones I could find at the stores and stuff. That's some of the earlier ones. So, but yeah, G.I. Joe was I say that's G.I. Joe is very special to me. If you listen to my G.I. Joe Real American Headcast, from there I talk about it all the time. That G.I. Joe, that's what got me into reading comics and got me 40 or
sue those people
for like 40 long boxes of comic books. I'm looking at half of them right now, but here in Manland. But yeah, it was G.I. Joe had all the figures from when I started collecting, and I got, like I say, most of them from the previous the previous series.
Do you remember what your first G.I. Joe toy ever was that you bought by any chance?
No, I do not remember which one my first toy I bought was. I'm trying to think. Yeah, I can't remember now. No. I had so many. I'm like, but this time,
a plethora
I didn't
of them.
worry about my mom buying them, because she thought I was getting too old for that. So I had a job and I was buying my own. I bought vehicles and.
Did you ever have that big bass thing?
Which big bass thing? There was several
bases. I don't know. There was like this gargantuan.
You talking about the flagship, or you
I don't know. It was like gray or something.
Was it a circular?
No, it was like the aircraft carrier thing.
Oh, okay, you're talking about the flag.
Okay.
No, I was no. Let me see real quick. I was gonna find it real quick. G.I. Joe USS Flag. Yeah, no, that is the envy of every G.I. Joe collector on Earth. The USS Flag. I remember seeing like $100, $110.
Holy crap, it's like $700 on eBay.
Yeah. And that may not, that's a local pickup only. That may not be a full everything either. I'm not sure. Because, yeah, they can go for hundreds of
Well, you know, you could return the laptop you just bought, and you could
I need my laptop.
use that.
But yeah, you're referring to the USS Flag. No, I never had any of the gigantic. I didn't have the Flag. I didn't have the Terrordrome. I have a lot of the huge ones, but here's one. Let me see pricing.
Didn't Kevin Smith just recently talk about saying that he just recently got one and he started crying? I think. I think so.
I don't remember. See now, and again, this is what I do. I do my own shows. I'll think of something. I'll have to look it up and see about it because I'm not sure offhand. But yeah, no, I didn't have the Flag. Wanted it. It was hard for me to spend $100 on the Flag when I could buy
a billion different little figures.
10 figures or, more than that.
Right.
20 figures or whatever it was for the Flag. See, I never broke down and bought that. I wish I would have, but it wouldn't have lasted through all my different moves, and it would have gotten rid of at some point.
Right.
Like all my other G.I. Joe toys got rid of. But that's another story entirely I'm not going to mention because I'll cry. And that's why I started buying them again on eBay and stuff. But yeah, G.I. Joe, I could talk about that all day. Well, I do on my G.I. Joe podcast. I got 2 shows on that, so I do talk about that.
Yeah, I know. I've seen you do it.
In fact, if you want to hear more about G.I. Joe, check out G.I. Joe, a Real American Headcast.
That was a shameless plug.
Yes, it was. I learned from Kevin Smith. Yeah, in fact, a couple of our episodes we've talked about. We had our first Christmas special we did. We talked about the first wave of toys. And then on Bravo TV, we've talked about some of the other toys. So yeah, we've talked about some of the toys on there. We will continue to talk more about them.
So if you could, of course, flagship.
USS Flag.
USS Flag, okay. In retrospect, of course that. But if you could you had some money to spend, what are a couple of figures, hands down, off the top of your head, that you would want?
The first couple of Snake Eyes, either the first or second Snake Eyes, Storm Shadow. As far as figures, almost anything from the first several waves, but those are the top of my list.
Are they hard to find?
They're a little more expensive because they're the more popular ones. And
what do they run?
Complete. I haven't priced them recently. I'm not sure. It's hard to tell. I found them on eBay a couple of times. Yeah, they tend to get a little expensive, and I stopped looking at a certain point.
You're like, forget it. I'm done. And what about the vehicles? Because I see you have a couple of vehicles behind you. Oh, you have 3 or 4 of them.
Yeah, I bought a couple of Trouble Bubbles. I bought one of the original Trouble Bubbles.
Which is your favorite, right?
Which is my favorite. Cobra vehicle. Actually, G.I. Joe vehicle in general is just the Trouble Bubble. And I bought one that I think was from 2008 was the other one I've got.
You've got a motorcycle thingy?
It's the Ram, I believe it is. That's the 2008 remake of it. And then I've got the original bridge layer, which is used to cross bridges or cross gullies or openings or whatever. His tank, that's an original His tank. And then there's the Wolverine. I'm missing cover girl for the Wolverine though, and the tow cable. Oh, and then I've also got Destro's the spoiler. And then let me see, most of the figures I've got right now, I've got the His driver, I've got Toll Booth, which are original figures. And I think the rest of the figures I have are the 2008 line they came out with at this point. Yeah, I bought a bunch of them on eBay relatively cheap, so I'm just looking real quick. Destro's from 2008. Yeah, all the figures I've got right now, except for the ones that are in the vehicles, that came with the vehicles, are from the 2008 remake they did.
Wow.
And see, I don't remember those coming out. I never really saw those in the store. You bought me Cobra Commander, the one with the helmets, back then. You saw it somewhere. I don't remember where you saw it at, but yeah, you picked it up and bought it for me and gave it to me as a gift. I forget what it was for now, but I got that one from you. But I don't recall seeing them in the stores or anything.
Really?
Yeah.
Sweet. I did good.
Yeah, very good.
Damn.
Yeah, it was the 2008 25th anniversary of G.I. Joe.
I didn't even know.
And then I bought the Hooded Cobra Commander 25th edition online because the Hooded Cobra Commander is my favorite version of.
It's so
Cobra
funny.
Commander.
I look through this room and I'm like, I got him that. I got him that. I got him that. Man.
See, it's just with people out there. We're sitting in Manland. I've put some pictures on the Headcast Network Facebook group. And I think I'll put it on my G.I. Joe, a Real American Headcast Facebook group if you want to check them out. And I'll have more on there. We're just now getting finished with it. I've ordered some frames and I've put some comics up on the wall. But other than that, it's pretty much done except for when I get more G.I. Joe figures, and then I'll swap things out for G.I. Joe. But
yes.
All the toys, G.I. Joe is my favorite. Like I said, I got a love for Star Wars too because I had those when I was younger. But I lost all my Star Wars figures when we had the house fire in 1984. And then I forget next. I know I liked He-Man. But again, at that point, my mom was like, "Oh, you're too old for me to buy you toys." I was a mid-teenager, and she was like, "You thought I was too old to have toys," so she didn't buy me action figures at that point. So that's when I had my own job. I started buying G.I. Joe on my own. But,
you're like, "Well, take that, lady."
But yeah, no, my mom thought I was rather childish, but that's who I am.
Big man child.
So, yeah. Some might want to say because of the house fire and all that, but no, I was a child before that, so I've always been stuck as a child. But yeah, I'm just looking around, man, looking at everything, and I get sidetracked. Do you have anything else you want to talk about? I got some other toys we can talk about.
Oh yeah, let me interject
go
here.
To your list.
Okay, so you mentioned He-Man.
Mm-hmm.
So as a little girl, just to kind of give a little side note about you kind of talked a little bit about your background here. I'm an only child, but growing up, I was raised with 6 cousins that were all boys. So when they ask me what my childhood was like, the first thing I always tell them is Barbie dated He-Man. That's how I describe my childhood, is when they ask me, what did you do? I said, Barbie dated He-Man. And that's kind of how I have a vast knowledge of a lot of things, because I was the second oldest out of all the kids, but I hung around with 3 out of the 6 for the most part. I'm sorry, there was 5 boys and I was the 6th out of the 6. So it went Jonathan, myself, and then Kyle. And those 2 were my mom's brother's boys, and I really didn't hang out with them. And then the other 3 boys I hung out with quite a bit. Those 3 boys were into Ninja Turtles, He-Man, Batman, Voltron, Transformers, Thundercats, all that stuff. So that's where my love for all of that came from. And going to my grandparents' house, the toys that were there were all of those toys. And then I had to hide all my toys because all my toys would get destroyed by the boys. So anytime I had any Barbies or anything like that, my grandmother always would have to put them up. And of course, the boys' toys were readily available because, of course, they were there too, and they weren't going to destroy their toys because, well, they're boys and they're rough with their toys anyways, and they didn't care. So if I wanted to play with them and I wanted them to play Barbies with me, Barbie had to play with He-Man. So Barbie got to ride on the purple cat, which was, of course, Skeletor's cat, which was, don't tell me, Panther. Wasn't it Panther? No, that's no. I'm sorry. That's Panther's from Thundercats. Don't tell me. Cringer is He-Man's. It was. Let's see here. Crap, I can't remember off the top of my head.
No, you are right. It was Panther.
It was Panther, wasn't it? It was Panther. Yeah. Yay! Kudos to me. And he was made out of this purple velvety material. Like his toy was purple and velvety.
It was a giant purple panther.
And I loved that feeling. So I always picked the purple one because it was more girly. And we had...
Right there.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I'm pulling up online to show her.
Yeah. But he had a purple velvety, covering. So, of course, Barbie rode the purple cat. And my cousins didn't want to play with Ugly Ken. So, they didn't have She-Ra. So I just used my Barbies. And that's how we played.
Yeah, you said Barbie dated He-Man. There's a joke in there somewhere I've seen online, but try to keep this PG, so we'll go ahead and skip that joke right now.
Yeah, probably be a good idea. But my grandmother, to kind of skip over all of that, my grandmother, and it's funny because we went to lunch with one of your podcasting friends. What was his name? Derek?
Derek WC.
I want to give him a shout out.
Or on the Fanholes Podcast Network.
What was it?
It's the Fanholes Network.
Okay. He helped me discover the name of it, which was RoboForce Robots. My grandmother, my grandmother was the yard sale queen. And she brought home this huge box of RoboForce robots. And they were these little robots that had these claw-like arms, and they extracted, and you could put balloons in the vehicles to make them go. I loved those things. Like, I loved playing with those robots. As far as other toys that I played with, boy toys, of course, and I'm sure you'll go into more detail about them in a little bit, but of course there was Transformers.
I didn't have any Transformers toys.
You didn't have any Transformers toys?
No, I was into G.I. Joe more.
Okay.
I watched the cartoon, I read the comic at a certain point. They were a little more expensive. G.I. Joe was cheaper. I wish I would have gotten some of those older Transformers, but yeah, I never got into the toys.
See, my cousins had a bunch of them. My grandmother we had some at the house, and I loved, and I repeat, loved the ambulance. Ratchet. That, I always had to be the ambulance. That was like my thing. And I remember it being so heavy in my hands, and it was this just die-cast little ambulance. And I loved that thing. It was so awesome. Yep, that was it. That was I loved that ambulance.
$68 on eBay.
$68 on eBay. Wow.
For original 1984 Ratchet. And yeah, I was looking at a complete Snake Eyes with the file card and everything starts usually like $50-$60 now.
Wow.
For a complete Snake Eyes.
So yeah, I mean, so when I think about my childhood and I think about playing with my cousins, I remember my cousins having those kind of toys. And I'm sure I'm mixing in, I might be getting close to like 89, but like Ninja Turtle stuff, is that getting close to the 90s?
The more mainstream was late 80s, early 90s.
Okay.
I mean, Ninja Turtles, the comic book, came out mid 80s.
What about Batman?
Which Batman? The movie?
Yeah, the first Batman
the movie came out in 1989.
Okay, so the Batman movie with Vicky Vale.
Yep, that was 1989.
Okay.
Me and Bob went and watched it in Merced.
How old were you?
18, 19.
How old was I?
You were like 11, 12.
Okay.
12?
Yeah.
I was in, I think it came out in 89, if I'm not mistaken, so I was in college. Shh. I'm not a pervert.
So, and my cousin's 4 years younger than I am. And so we used to pretend to be Batman and Vicky Vale. And my grandparents had a old car lot. And we used to pretend to be Batman and Vicky Vale. And I would write checks. And then we'd play like the Joker. And he had a lot of I think he had like this slime one or something for, I don't know, maybe I'm crossing.
Well, there was the Ninja Turtles had a lot of.
Well, I know they had the ooze stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, I was looking real quick. The toys first came out in 1987.
Oh, okay.
The toys came out. Yeah, like I say, the comic book, which was darker, it was black and white. It was an independent comic. Came out like in 84. Yeah, it came out in 84. But then in the late 80s, 87 was the first animated series. Mm-hmm. And right after that's when they had the toys. So
right. So I know that we used to play Vicky Vale and Batman, and so like I know like my cousins had a lot of Batman toys and that kind of stuff.
I'm trying to think. Yeah, Turtles had the ooze, well.
Yeah, no, I know they had the ooze stuff.
I don't remember Batman offhand. I mean, there may have been something.
The Joker stuff.
But I don't remember Batman having.
Was it?
Maybe they probably had some slime.
Some slime, because slime was so big back then.
I'm looking it up real quick while we talk.
Joker slime?
To see what it was.
So there was that. And then, of course, they had the Ninja Turtle stuff. I played with that a lot. That was a lot of fun. But as far as, like, girly stuff goes, of course, like, my Barbies. I would say Barbies, Cabbage Patch Kids, and Rainbow Bright. And those were, like, my three major stuff. Rainbow Bright, I had the big doll, the normal doll. I have one in a box still, mint in condition. My late husband actually bought me one. My first husband, he bought me one before he passed when we were dating. It's up in the rafters somewhere now, but I have actually a real, like, I'm sure it's worth a lot of money. I'm saying it's worth some money. I'm pretty sure it is. Not a lot of money. I don't know. Depends on who wants it, but...
Yeah, I don't see any slime or anything for...
Maybe I'm thinking just the Ninja Turtles, then. Maybe I'm just getting it crossed in my head.
Maybe something later on. Yeah,
no, I mean, maybe I'm just thinking Ninja Turtles. Now, here's the crazy thing, and I know I told you the story the other night. Care Bears.
Care Bear stare.
I wanted a Care Bear so bad, but I had not the greatest real biological father who never was around. And he, for my birthday, was told that I wanted a Care Bear. So what does he do? He comes by and drops off my gift and leaves. And I open it up and it's this weird bear-looking thing with these wings and these antennas with some flowers on the ends. And I'm like, what in the world is this? I've never seen it. It came with a book. And the book says, Wuzzles. And I'm like,
remember the Wuzzles?
what is a Wuzzle? Never heard of it in my life. Come to find out, it's an actual cartoon of these genetically altered animals like Butter Bear, Bumble Lion. I forget what other animals there were.
I saw the toys, but I watched the cartoon.
Yeah, I ended up watching the cartoon quite a bit. It was a cute cartoon.
Because I was childlike.
You know, talking to you about this is kind of creeping me out a little bit. Because, like, I was in the age bracket that they were gearing this stuff to, not you.
I'll freely admit, yeah.
But, yeah, so I never got my Care Bear, but I ended up getting a Wuzzle. And I never knew what a Wuzzle was until a lot longer. But apparently, the Wuzzles never took off. And I don't know what...
No, I don't know.
It was like, they were like the redheaded stepchild of, like, Care Bears, I guess. I don't know. But I wonder if any of our listeners had Wuzzles. It'd be interesting to know if anybody else had a Wuzzle.
So again, I do the kind of stuff when people mention something I'm curious about. So I'm looking it up. Wuzzles came out in 1985. It was Saturday morning. It was for Disney.
Ellaroo. Wasn't there like an Ellaroo?
Yeah, there was
like part elephant, part kangaroo.
It was bigger success in the United Kingdom. There was the narrator. Land of Was, where they're from. Bubble Lion, Butter Bear.
So Bubble Lion was part bumblebee, part lion. Butter Bear was bumblebee, part
bear.
Bear
And butterfly.
Butterfly.
Ellaroo was elephant and kangaroo.
Moosel was part moose, part seal.
Hippopotamus.
Rhinoki, I remember him, part rhinoceros.
Hippopotamus was half rabbit, half hippopotamus. Hippopotamus, wow. Say it 5 times fast. Rhinoki was a rhinoceros and monkey. Crossosaurus was crocodile and dinosaur. That was the main villain. Referred to him as Croc. Rat was a wild boar and a dragon. Flizzard was half lizard and half frog. And then there was other one-shot or minor characters. There was Tycoon, which was a half tiger, half raccoon. Officer Eagle Beagle, obviously an eagle and a bald beagle and a bald eagle. Pack Cat. A pack rat and a cat. Mrs. Pedigree was half swan, half ostrich. Transylvia, that take on a different meaning this day and age. Half vulture, half ape. She was a vampire witch of the terrified forest. There was the Dingbat, which was part dingo and part bat. Garantula, half tarantula. Peter Parafox, half parrot, half fox. And Stephen Silbird. That's what they did there. Stephen Silbird. Half seal, half seabird. Those were the... And I guess there were some untelevised ones. There were some babies. Yeah, I got looking into trying to find out what happened to it, and we got sidetracked. Butter Bear and Rhinoki will appear in a future episode of DuckTales in 2017. Apparently they were in the new DuckTales remake. A couple of them. But yeah, there was the TV show. There was 13 episodes from October of 1985 through December of 1985. Or no, September of 85 through December of 85. I'm not seeing much on here for the toys, though. But I remember there was toys for them, and you remembered them.
Yeah, because I had one.
You had one, but yeah, this is just the
cartoon itself.
Cartoon, which is from Disney. It was on CBS.
Interesting.
Yeah, there's nothing about the toys on there, though.
Because they were the redheaded stepchild
Apparently.
of the...
People just didn't like them as much. I thought they were interesting, but again, I wasn't the target audience, so I guess it doesn't really matter what I think about them. Yeah, there's not much... I mean, there's like I Love the 80s that people talk about them, but anyways, let's get off the Wuzzles because that's...
It's been done. Over and done with.
We've talked enough about the Wuzzles.
All right, so you got anything else? Toys-wise?
Well, I say those are the main ones I actually had. I remember He-Man was a big one, but again, as I said earlier, by that point, my mom was getting too old for toys, for action figures, and she didn't buy them for me, so never had any He-Man. You were talking about Transformers, I got thinking, one of my cousins back east, I don't think it was Brad. I talked about Brad over my G.I. Joe podcast. He had a bunch of G.I. Joe toys, and I had my first G.I. Joe comic at his house. But one of my cousins back there, I remember, had a couple of Transformer toys. I played with them for a bit, but not very long. Anyways, He-Man, Well, another one I really liked that came out, Visionaries. Again,
I remember the cartoon.
There was a cartoon, there was a limited comic book, and there was some action figures for it. It only lasted like a year or so. I had a couple of action figures. Cops was another one that had a cartoon and action figures and a comic book. I had one or two of the figures for Cops. Futuristic law enforcement stuff. I liked it. But again, I wasn't the target audience because I was a bit older at that point.
Did you like any toys when you were a kid, or did you just like toys when you were like a teenager?
Well, when I was a kid, there were Star Wars,
so you were just
Star Trek,
on that.
and Clash of the Titans. And I don't remember before that what toys I played with. I remember when I was in kindergarten, I had a Sesame, which was not the 80s, but...
oh, that's true. You were... Never mind. That's
again, we're talking about the 80s. But I had a Sesame Street play sets.
Uh-huh.
And I had one in school at kindergarten I played with, and I told Mom I really liked it, so I got it for Christmas one year.
Okay. My brain just went, why aren't we talking about the stuff that you liked when you were a kid? But wait a minute.
That's for the 70s.
You were in the 70s.
Yeah, I was 10 years old in the 80s.
Yeah, so. I'm sorry. I was like, why are we talking about the stuff you liked when you were little, but you're an old fart? That's why.
That'd be a different podcast.
Yep.
But those are the main ones I really remember. Yeah, I mean, almost every cartoon and most movies that kids related had a toy out there, but those are the main ones. I say Batman. For the Batman movie, which came out in 1989, so that would fall into our category. I had several of the Batman figures. I bought them.
Any board games you remember from the 80s that you enjoyed?
Yeah, we played board games all the time. One that me and my buddy Dean loved was called Bargain Hunter.
Oh, God. Because you guys are both cheapskates.
Yeah.
Let's just get this right.
Oh, very much
you
so.
You guys are like the biggest penny pinchers ever.
Yeah, Bargain Hunter. You had a list of things you had to buy, and the board. I forget how you made money, but you'd have to go around, you'd have to buy different things from different stores, and in the middle of the board, there was a credit card machine. A little plastic credit card you put on there, you slide it across, and there was like a spinner underneath. And sometimes come up approved, sometimes come up disapproved or denied. But yeah, we used to love, that was a game my mom had. We played Bargain Hunter all the time. I played the classic ones, Monopoly, Life, things like that. There was another one that I was in it was like the Boy Scouts, it was like a religious portion of it. It was called the Royal Rangers. Our commander had one, I can't remember what the name of it was. It was, you were on a boat or something, you were looking for treasure or something out at sea. I forget the name of it now. I'll see if Dean remembers that one later on, but... I remember that board game. We play that when we do Royal Ranger things. Sometimes we get together and play games. Battleship. I mean, the classic games that everyone knows and loves.
Did you play D&D in the 80s?
A little bit. Let me see. Yeah, me and Dean played a little bit, and his brother Larry. We played D&D once in a while. That would fall into the 80s. When in 1983, 84... When I was in 8th grade, I had 2 periods of English. It was like English and then reading. It was same. It was right one after another, same teacher and everything. And I was such a good student. At the time, I was in 8th grade. I was reading at college level. So my mom was the aide in the special ed room, or classroom at the same school. So she talked to my teacher. And so for one period, I got my work done. And then the next period, I'd go over to her classroom, and I'd play D&D with her students. I'd DM with her students, and that way they would learn. It would help them learn how to cooperate and follow instructions, things like that.
That's really cool.
And then I know when I was in high school, there was another class I had 2 periods of, and I was doing so well in it that one period I walked over and I would show them stuff on how to use the computer.
That's really neat.
But yeah, I say so. Yeah, me and Dean and Larry played D&D a little bit, and there's a couple guys that I grew up with. One of my we was friends when we were younger. But I wanted to play D&D with them, but I wasn't quite geeky enough for them, or nerdy enough, I guess.
How are you not geeky enough?
Well, I guess I wasn't nerdy enough, because these were nerds. To me, the difference between a geek and a nerd is a geek like I am. They're into the toys and the comics and geek-related stuff. The nerds are the smart geeks. I wasn't smart enough to hang out with them. I mean, I was relatively smart, but I wasn't, these guys are almost like genius level.
Oh, okay.
They're very much Big Bang Theory type.
Yeah, I hear you.
There was like 4 of them or so. There was twin brothers and the 2 other guys that would hang out and they play D&D. And I tried to approach a couple of times. But they'd usually, give me the brush off because I wasn't smart enough to join them. That's not geeky enough. I wasn't nerdy enough. I wasn't smart enough to join up with them.
Oh, they're dumb.
But In fact, yeah, me and one of them's friends on Facebook at this point. I think we were friends when we were younger. I'd go to his house, and I remember we'd read some Star Wars comics and some other stuff. But yeah, and then we kind of drifted apart, and he drifted more with the nerds, and I was with the losers and the ones that people didn't want to hang out with. So
weird.
In high school, I was in the Career Center all day playing on the computer.
No.
After school, and my mom bought me an Apple IIc, which was the portable laptop.
Just so you could come home.
So I'd come home at night. Otherwise, I'd stay at the Career Center until almost dinner time, go home and eat. So that's my mom had to buy a computer. You don't come home at night.
So, speaking of board games, Perfection.
Yeah, play Perfection.
I think that's part of the reason why I have anxiety. Like, that game, like, I spaz out, but it's so fun. Like, I love that game, but I hate that game at the same time. Hungry Hippos, I hate that game with a passion, but I got it for Christmas one year, and my cousin Philip would want to play it all the time, but it's so loud that I despise it.
Well, let me interject real quick. I'm just looking at the top 10 board games of the 80s. Monopoly, of course. Battleship I played. Operation. The one that you just talked about how you love. Hungry Hippo.
No, I don't love that game.
Oh, sorry.
Don't love that game.
Life. Topple. I don't remember Topple offhand. Trivia Pursuit and Risk. See, I played all those except for, like I say, I didn't play much of Hungry Hippo. And I'm not sure about Topple. So those are the popular board games in the 80s.
No.
Barrel of Monkeys. Trouble.
So, my favorite one?
Yes.
Mousetrap. I loved Mousetrap.
I never had that one.
You know who hated Mousetrap, though?
Who?
My mom. Because she's the one who had to set it up every time. And it was always, I don't want to play that. But why? Because I don't want to set it up. And when I started working at the YMCA, when I was like straight out of high school, we had that game in high school. And it was Paybacks. Because I hated setting up that game with a passion. And the kids would be like, Miss Michelle, I want to play the game. But no. Why? Because I don't want to set up that game.
I know Mousetrap. I never played that. Well, here's another GoSocial.co. 15 board games that every 80s child remembers or should remember. Let me go through that list real quick, see if you remember it. Ghost Castle was number one on their list.
Nope.
Don't remember that one. Looks kind of like a Mousetrap type game, but for ghosts. Number 2 is Mousetrap, which you talked about.
Yay, Mousetrap.
Game of Life.
I didn't like that game until I got older.
Game of Life. Cluedo, which was a generic version of Clue.
Go figure.
Or maybe a kid's version of Clue.
Maybe.
Frustration. I remember Frustration.
What
little
was
popper
that?
thing in the middle, and it had a square.
So it was kind of like Sorry?
Yeah. See, here it is. It's a Pop-Matic race game.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Boring.
I remember that. I enjoyed that one. Go for Broke. I don't remember that one offhand. The game you win by losing $1 million. Electronic Dream Phone.
I remember that as a girl.
Kind of like Guess Who, but with Hunky Boys instead. Yeah, I never played that one.
I think one of my friends had that game.
Escape from Colditz. Some sort of Nazi game. I don't remember that one. Go for It. Looks like a car game of some sort. I don't remember. That looks vaguely familiar. Mr. T board game.
Mr. T, no.
I do not remember Mr. T board game. Sorry.
Everybody had
Risk.
Sorry. Yeah.
Monopoly, of course.
Everybody had Monopoly.
Trivia Pursuit and Scrabble.
I had Wheel of Fortune. That was a fun one.
I had Family Feud.
I had Family Feud. We still I think we have it. Don't we have it?
We have a Family Feud.
We have a Family Feud.
We have a newer one.
Yeah, we have
Steve
a newer
Harvey.
one. Yeah, it was
That's the
Steve
original
Harvey.
Family Feud.
And did you know we really can't play that with the kids because there is a lot of I tried to take it. I work just for record. I work for a Christian preschool, but we also have an after-school program, and we have grade school kids. I made the mistake of taking that to work one day. I could have gotten a lot of trouble because there was a lot of sexual stuff in that. Had my boss found out, I could have gotten in big trouble. Needless to say, that will never get taken to work again. What about, where did it go? Oh, what was it called? I didn't play it till I was in high school because my best friend, luckily, is a big nerd too. But it was called... Oh, come on. What was it called? Hero Quest.
Hero Quest.
Hero Quest.
Let's move that up real quick.
Hero Quest Vintage Board Game by Milton Bradley. It's a fantasy RPG.
I never played that one.
You've never played that?
I never played Hero Quest.
Oh my goodness gracious, great balls of fire. Oh, it looks like it might have been a 90s game.
It came out in 1989.
Okay, well.
It was the first year it came out.
Okay, well then I
technically
still
falls into.
I technically hit it.
Years active was 1989 through 1997.
Okay. Friends that are listening, I'm sure one of you guys have played it. It is an amazingly fun game. It has just, it's I can't even put into words how fun it is. And this one part, I have my little character on the board and it's got like little squares.
Right.
And I move my character into the room and Neil takes the big old monster guy, he puts it in front of me and he goes, the demon's right here. And I went, what? He goes, just kidding. And I'm like, oh, you jerk. It was great.
Well, in the same line but different, I had a Dungeons and Dragons computer labyrinth game. I remember getting that one. That came out in 1980. I remember getting that. I must have gotten 81, 82. I remember that when I was going to Uncle Alpha's in Atwater, California. We stopped at Merced at Kmart. And I asked my mom, so she bought it for me.
R.I.P. Kmart.
Yes, another one that's dead. All the toy stores are dead. Our stores. Well, now everything's dead. That's another story entirely. Yeah, it was a castle floor, and there's like 4 or 5 little miniatures you put on there, and you're like trying to stay away from the dragon, if I'm right. I forget what it was now, but yeah, I remember I used to love that one. Just looking at it right now on Wikipedia. Dungeons and Dragons Computer Labyrinth game. Yeah, it was released in 1980 by Mattel. Oh, I love that game. That was fun.
That sounds like fun.
Yeah, the game, when every time you turn it on, it would randomly create monsters in invisible labyrinth, and you would have to go around and run into invisible walls. And then it came with wall piece. Once you found a wall, you could put a wall piece there, so you kind of lay the board out as you're going along and discovering it. That was a fun game.
Of course, there was like Mall Madness and Girl Talk and all those girly games. Really wasn't into those kind of things. Yeah. A lot of girls were. There was the Pac-Man board game. I don't know if you've ever played that.
Yes, I had the Pac-Man board game.
Did you really?
Yes.
Was it good?
For what it was, yeah, it was.
What?
I'm sorry, I'm on eBay.
Oh.
$20 for the Dungeons and Dragons game with all 4 pieces.
Really?
$20.50 free shipping. Got 1 day left on it.
Google the game Atmosphere board game.
Google or eBay?
eBay it. Or no, Google it and see if you come up with it with the VHS
there's some
tape.
more. $100. Well, that get expensive. But yeah, there's little pieces.
I want to know if it came out in the 80s.
Which one?
It's called Atmosphere with the VHS tape. Atmosphere. I wonder if that was 80s. We played it. I played it in high school, but I don't know how old it is.
91.
Okay. Didn't make it. So can't talk about it.
Previously known as Nightmare in Certain Regions, it's an Australian horror video board game.
The best thing ever.
Released in 1981.
Can't talk about it. Sorry, guys. If you want to look it up, but we won't talk about it now. But it's amazing, but we won't go there. Just because. Hey, there's an IRS game. Challenge the IRS.
You don't want to do that.
And it's an 80s game. There's a Batman game. 1989.
Yeah, I think I had that one.
The Batman DC Comics 1989 Vintage Board Game University. That's super cool looking, dude.
Yeah, I think I had that one. I saw a picture of that when I was looking at stuff earlier, and I think I had that game, if I'm not mistaken.
And you got rid of it or something?
Of course, yeah, I remember now. It's been years ago.
That's really neat. Okay, I think we're kind of killing the board games here. Dukes of Hazzard board game. That was really
Dukes
cool.
of Hazzard, but I don't remember having the board game.
I think one of my cousins did.
Yeah, the Batman game.
I was forced to play
eBay for they're sold out of it.
The Fall Guy.
Well, yeah, I watched the Fall Guy TV show, but yeah, I never had the game or anything. But again, yeah, if there was something, a TV or movie,
they capitalized on everything.
Everything, yes, pretty much.
Okay, this has to be a farce.
See, for the record, you're the one who got us on board games.
Okay, this has to be a farce. Line O Coke. Do-it-yourself cocaine kit.
No, that was a game. I had that one. No,
so did your mom when she was pregnant.
Hey,
I was joking. Family Unfriendly Board Games, Part 9. Oh my goodness, that is hilarious.
Yeah, no, I never had that one.
Oh man, that is so funny.
This may have been late 70s, but I had to name that tune board game.
Now that's really up my alley. I love that.
Wasn't very good at it, but I had that board game.
Dynamite Shack. That's another board game.
Okay, now you're just
we're digressing, but that was funny. We'll have to look at these later. Oh, these are too
Anyway,
funny.
any other toys you want to mention? This was toys, not board games. Until you veered us into that oncoming semi.
Yeah. Okay, so Garbage Pail Kids, because then we can kind of talk about the Cabbage Patch Kid.
Trying to backdoor the Cabbage Patch Kids into here. Me and my brother bought the Garbage Pail Kid stickers. If that counts for anything.
I was offended by them.
Of course you were.
Well, because I had a million Cabbage Patch Kids.
Yeah, so we got in trouble with Garbage Pail Kids.
Why?
We bought those, and then there was also like fake product stickers like Electric Slave, and things like that.
Mm-hmm.
We'd buy them at Red's Market, which is a little store there in Scottsdale at the time, and we would pet them on the side of my brother's dresser.
Oh, you're not supposed to put stickers on furniture. That's a no-no.
I found that out.
The hard way.
My mom came in, and we had stickers all along the side of it. And
you probably thought it was really cool, too, huh?
It was really cool, and then we got in trouble.
Yep.
Remember the Garbage Pail Kids? I enjoyed those.
Oh, I hated them. They disgusted me.
I liked them.
Oh, they disgusted me. But see, you don't understand. Like, I loved Cabbage Patch. Like, your G.I. Joe.
I know. I know about your love with Cabbage Patch.
No, it goes beyond that. I was let's see, when did I go? Maybe in my 20s or 30s.
Well, we're outside the 80s. Are we? No, yeah, we'd be outside the 80s.
To the Cabbage Patch Kid General Hospital in Georgia. And it was like going to the Holy Land. And not even kidding. It was like
if I could go to the secret stash.
Yes. I stepped on the ground and I wanted to like rub the ground and just touch it and not move for a moment and just be there with the floor. And then when I walked in, it was so hokey.
Yeah.
And you're like, this is what I thought it was. This is what I dreamed about going my entire childhood.
10 years earlier, you would have loved it.
Yes. I mean, don't get me wrong. It was still amazing, and I still loved it, and I still bought a doll, and it was still great, but I don't think they renovated it since the 80s, so, like, it was still, like, really 80s in 2000-something, and I was just like, it's kind of like watching your favorite movie you haven't seen. It's gonna be like when we watch it. Oh. Yes, but it's probably gonna be like if we watch Clash of the Titans now, and you're gonna be like, "Oh, this is."
Oh, I know I already know it's gonna be not necessarily bad, but
it's gonna be not what you remember it being like as a kid.
It's kind of like there was this horror movie from the '80s, which we're not gonna get too much right now because we're not talking about movies, but.
The Lady in White?
No, that was yours. Mine was Sleepaway Camp. It's still an interesting movie, but yeah, that was a horror movie back in the 80s that me and Dean loved. We watched it as adults. We're like, what the heck? Okay.
But still, I mean, it still had it still felt good to go. But it just, now as a child, had I gone, it would have been like going to Disneyland.
Of course.
But I have, at one point, I think I had at least 25, 30 Cabbage Patch Kids. And I still, I've always joked if I won the lottery, I'd be that crazy lady who had a room full of dolls. And I'm not joking. I would have a collection of Barbies. Like, I would still have a collection of Barbies if you let me. I still want...
If I had the money, this room would be full of G.I. Joe. I'm with you.
You have more of a collection than I do.
I don't know. You got quite a bit of Barbies in there in your display shelf.
I don't have that many compared to this.
Well, G.I. Joe, I think you do. Mine's a lot smaller and...
Less expensive, probably.
Well, I've got, yeah.
I need...
I don't have a lot of the classic stuff.
I need the Princess Leia Barbies rad, people. Just so you know. Hint, hint, nudge, nudge, wink, wink. But, yeah, so the Cabbage Patch Kids, I never got a set of the twins, which is kind of sad. And... I remember my best friend had a set of the twins, the Cabbage Patch Kid twins.
Only twins I know about the
Yeah, I don't even want to know about twins that you know.
No, it's not those twins. No, it's Tomax and Zaymar from G.I. Joe.
Yeah, G.I. Joe. But, I mean, I have, like, a Cabbage Patch Kid from, like, the 96 Olympics. And I've got a couple of Cabbage Patch Kids that they did from like certain anniversary ones, and I've got, I don't know, a bunch of different ones. But I remember one Christmas I wanted a certain preemie Cabbage Patch Kid or whatever, and I don't think my mom could afford it, or she decided to go outside the box, which, if you know my mom, she means well, but sometimes she tries to go outside the box. And this time she actually won gold. But at the time, as a child, I wasn't too sure if it was... When I first opened it, it wasn't gold, but it ended up being something amazing. And it was another 80s toy called a My Child doll. None of my friends, no one that I knew, no one had one of these dolls. But if you look it up, it's called a My Child doll, and I guess they're really popular in like Australia or something weird like that. And if you Google them on eBay, they're worth a lot of money. And they've got like velvet skin. I'm not velvet skin, but like they've got like these, I don't know, soft. I don't even know how to explain their skin, but they're
from 85 to 88 most had felt skin on their heads.
Felt. Okay, yeah.
Though some had a vinyl skin. So some had felt, some had vinyl.
And it ended up being my most favorite doll I've ever owned in my entire life. Like, hands down, my most favorite doll.
Originally made in Taiwan, then later on they're made in China. Between 87 and 88, Marvel bought a vinyl face doll called Loving Baby. Dolls had bodies made of the same soft fabric as My Child, similar skin tones, posable legs, and solid arm joints, but on the back allowed them to hug. Aww. Anyways, I was looking on the Wikipedia for My Child. Had pets, clothing.
But they had like real hair that you could comb, brush, and
eyelashes, it looks like.
No eyelashes. No, they're painted on.
Was it? Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I just saw some eyelashes.
But they have like really pretty blue eyes or brown eyes and the little button noses, but you could go on eBay and look them up, and they're worth a lot of money. And
get another Mattel toy.
And people make clothes for them, and I have two. I bought another one on eBay back when I was working and staying at home, when I can afford to like buy frivolous things when you don't have kids and a lot of bills. But yeah, that My Child's, like, I would collect My Child's and Barbie dolls now if I could do the two things, but not even Cabbage Patch Kids. It would just be My Child's and Barbie dolls. But that's about it.
Well, going back real quick, another figure I wouldn't mind having is the Zartan action figure.
Is that another G.I. Joe?
Yeah. I mind when I saw a picture of Zartan, I went back to that. Came to the swamp skier, and that's where it's back in the past now.
You know what both of us have totally skipped over? Atari.
So that's a video game. I would consider that really...
It's a toy?
Yeah, I consider video games a different...
genre?
Different thing. But yeah, we can talk about video games. There was Atari, there was Intellivision, there was a bunch of... Those two I had was Atari and Intellivision. And I think the late 90s it was Nintendo.
When did Nintendo come out?
Yeah, they go to the computer real quick. And see, Atari was out with to me it was a 70s toy.
See, I didn't play it till the 80s, so to me it's an 80s toy.
Let's take a look real quick and see when Nintendo came out. I think it came out late 80s. In 1983, Nintendo had a family computer, home video game console in Japan. 85, they reworked it. Came outside of Japan for the Nintendo. Came out in 85, it looks like.
Cool.
Yeah. So I didn't have to late. But see, I said 80s. It was late 80s. I got late 80s. So I'm just looking real quick, seeing when Atari came out. Because again, I had Atari. So there were other Ataris before that probably, but 1980. Okay, first came out in 1977.
The year I was born.
It went from 77 through 92. So yeah, it was a 70s game, late 70s.
Mm-hmm.
It was very much, we consider that the 2600 a 80s game also then.
Okay, cool.
Like I say, growing up, me and my brother, we had an Atari, and we also had an Intellivision.
Well, I'm sure. When did that come out?
The Intellivision came out in 79.
Wow, I was like, what?
79 through 84.
Wow.
So yeah, my mom had got us both. And I remember eventually they had an additional add-on to the Intellivision attached to it that would actually allow it to speak. That was one of the older
Wow.
That was state of the art back then.
That sounds like it. That sounds kind of
Yeah,
cool.
a couple games. Yeah, you could plug the voice module into it and put the games in. Some games could speak.
Hey Siri.
Not quite like
Oh,
that.
I know. I'm just being silly.
The Atari, if you're familiar with it, had a joystick with the one button.
Right.
And television had a round circular pad that you would use and a keypad.
Never
A
seen
9-digit
those.
keypad, and they came like little inserts that you would slide into this controller. Each game would have its own insert, and each button would do something different.
Oh wow.
And there was buttons on the side also for like jumping and stuff.
Wow, that sounds kind of confusing.
But yeah, instead of a joystick, it had a little disc. You'd have to. If I think I'll post a picture on the.
I think I might have seen that
with a
somewhere.
disc, and you could also buy little attachable joysticks that would go on it.
Wow.
But yeah, we had both the Atari, and that's when my grandma had a television. And that's what she played Burger Time on.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
So that's when she would start kicking?
Yeah, so that's why I've been talking on my Facebook and stuff. My grandma said you used to have a television. She played Burger Time. It was a game where you'd run around and make a burger, killing these pickles and eggs and all these things trying to chase you. And watching her play that, she'd be jerking around, moving her arms all around.
Kicking her legs.
Kicking her leg. Yeah, she like that. I'm like, Grandma, that doesn't help you, Eddie. Well, here I am, 50 years old, and we got the kids a Nintendo Switch for Christmas, and we've been playing the Mario. Whatever the main Mario game on there is. It's not Odyssey. It's whatever it is. The regular Mario,
something like that.
Mario Universe or
Mario U or Ultimate or I don't know.
something. But yeah, it's the side-scrolling Mario like on the Super Nintendo type. And so yeah, playing that, I'm sitting there, and I notice I start jerking my arms around and jerking my feet up, and I try to jump, move my feet, and I'm like, oh God, I gave my grandmother crap all those years, and now I'm doing it. And she was probably about my age when she was doing it. Figure 15, 35. She's about 55.
So you started younger than she did.
She wasn't much younger. She wasn't much older than I am.
So you started younger than she did.
Well, I don't know. She didn't have a game back then. She didn't have a game at that time, so.
But you started younger than she did.
But yeah. So yeah, another 5 years, I'll definitely be my grandma by then.
So I didn't no one bought me an Atari. I was given it as a hand-me-down. Somehow I ended up with two, which is really odd. I don't know how I had two, but I have two. And they're up, we still own two.
Mm-hmm. Sure.
Yeah, they're somewhere up in the attic. Who knows where. And we have tons of games. We have Frogger, we have Cosmic Arc, which is my absolute favorite game. You take the joystick, and you're this little tiny spaceship, and you fly over, and it goes zzz, and there's these cows that you have to suck up, right? So you fly over, and you shoot this beam down, and you have to suck up this cow, like this alien spaceship, and it sucks the cow up, and it goes zzz, and you suck the cow up, and you fly off into space, and then all these asteroids come at you, and you have to shoot the asteroids, so it goes like left, right, up, down, and you have to be fast, and the asteroids go faster, up and down, and pretty soon it gets so fast that you're not fast enough to, and then the asteroids hit you. And then pretty soon you have to go, and then there'll be like 2 cows on the field, and then 3 cows on the field, and you have to, and then there'll be people, and you have to suck the people up in your beam, and that's, absolutely love Cosmic Arc, and that's my favorite, like, just hands down. And there was Jungle Hunt.
The Jungle Hunt, Pac-Man, Ms. Pac-Man.
We have those.
Those classics. Just look at Pole Position.
We have that one.
Quite a bit. One I loved was Raiders of the Lost Ark.
I think we have that one.
I'll have to see. That one of my things on my list is to go through and sort our games and figure out what we have. Yeah, I had Raiders of the Ark. I used to play that one all the time. Another one that me and Dean, the guys, used to love playing was looking on the website real quick on Wikipedia, Warlords. Warlords.
Is that the one where you ride something?
No, Warlord. You're thinking Joust.
Okay,
riding the ostriches. Warlords was a four-player game. You used paddles. It was like their circular thing.
We have paddles.
And the screen was divided like with an X. There was like 4. Each person had a corner and a little ball of you going back. You'd shoot balls, or I forget now. Either shoot balls. I think it was ball bouncing around or something. You had a little shield. And you were trying to block your castle from being destroyed. We used to play the heck out of that game.
That reminds me of Breakout.
Kind of. It was kind of like Breakout.
I loved Breakout, or Alleyway, or whatever it was called. I loved Breakout.
Yeah, I'm just looking at Warlords online right now to see. Oh, that's oh wow. There's a 3D version on Xbox Live Arcade. Huh? He says curiously. Yeah, Warlords is a battle between 4 warlords, 1 to 4 players using the objectives to destroy the other 3 castles while protecting your own with a moving. Yeah, it had a moving shield. It was an L-shaped wall, distinguished by different colors, each containing and protecting a warlord icon, usually a crown. The weapons were spinning fireballs, which bounce off anything they touch, but destroy chunks of the castle. And you could catch them and hold them on your shield. That's what it was. Little fireballs you could catch if you catch with your shield. You would hold it for a minute and then throw it at somebody else.
Oh, wow.
That was fun. Yeah, we used to play the heck out of that one. Anyways, but yeah, that was one of the big ones. I say Raiders of the Lost Ark, and then what they had with Pac-Man, Miss Pac-Man, all the usual, video games. I'm just looking at the Wikipedia, trying to refresh my memory as we talk about these. Asteroids, of course. Lock and Chase.
I don't remember that one.
That one there, my best friend Dean, his dad, his name was Troy, we used to call him Poot. He loved Lock and Chase. That was a game that Troy used to always play. In fact, yeah, even in the 90s, early 2000s, Poot used to have an Atari in his bedroom that he'd play. When he lived with Dean, he had an Atari in there. And he used to love Lock and Chase. And basically what it was, you were a cop. It was kind of like a Pac-Man type game. You were a cop and you were chasing robbers or something like that. And there was doors that would lock on you. I forget the details.
Oh, I remember him playing that.
Yeah, it's been years since I played it. But yeah, I remember Poot used to always play Lock and Chase.
I remember seeing that on his TV.
Yeah, there it is, Lock and Chase. So I got to look now. It's by Dad at East. It's a maze arcade, kind of like Pac-Man, as I said. It was Dad at East response to Pac-Man. It was licensed to Mattel, who produced the television, Atari 2600. I'm just looking here real quick. Okay, you were the thief, and you were in a maze, collect all the coins. Where Pac-Man was the dots, and the end of the treasures would pop up occasionally, and you're running from cops, the policemen. And doors would open and close. You could use them to trap the guards temporarily.
Very
Stiffy,
cool.
Scaredy, Smarty, and Silly are the cops. Yeah, there would be 3 money bags would pop up, and this were on Pac-Man. They had the little fruit. Here, that little money bag would pop up.
I'm sure they use the same code too when they're generating it. They're like, let's just change this.
Oh yeah, no, they just changed.
They changed the color and the shape, and
So basically, they
we'll
didn't
just
have-
round off this little pixel right here.
They didn't have power pellets to make you super powerful. Here, you could temporarily lock a door to slow a guard down.
Right.
But yeah, Poot loved that. Yeah, I enjoyed that one too. But that's one that Poot always played.
Very cool.
I'm just looking at the Wikipedia list of games real quick. I know there's a G.I. Joe game, but I don't think I ever played that one. Oh, another I remember, just now thought of. Superman. There was a Superman Atari
game.
There was a Superman Atari 2600 game, yes. I remember playing that one a lot when I was a kid too. I love that one.
Oh my goodness gracious. If we could have
that was before I got into combat. I've always been into superheroes and stuff. But yeah, there was a Superman. I'm just looking, trying to see if I can find it on here real quick.
Superman's my hero.
Oh, there it is. Superman.
Wow.
That came out 78 and 79 was when that one came out.
Not like a huge, I like comics per se. I'm a DC girl for sure.
It was very generic looking. It was 2600, but yeah, that's the game right there.
But I have a very soft spot in my heart for Christopher Reeve Superman. That's what I grew up on, and there's a poster in Manland that Aaron has that
I posted on my Headcast Network Facebook group, me standing by that wall.
I can't keep my eyes off of it.
So to look at that one, you can check out, I say go to Facebook and join up with the Headcast Network Facebook group. I got pictures on there of what you're referring to.
It's my favorite poster.
I really love that poster. I forgot I had that one.
Yeah, I've never seen it in the almost 15 years we've been married. I've never seen that poster.
The poster's been wrapped up, boxed up, tied up to a place to pet them, and
I even suggest maybe we hang it in our bedroom. We digress.
Another video games I enjoyed from Atari was Sword Quest. There was 3 different ones of those: Earth World, Fire World, and Water World. There's supposed to be a 4th one, but it had a little comic book that came with it, but it kind of fizzled out, and they never finished it for some reason. Anyways, yeah, there's a whole lot of other Atari
Yeah, there's
games.
a lot of Atari. So as far as Nintendo...
Well, real quick before we get to Nintendo, there was also the ColecoVision. I didn't have a ColecoVision, but I had a friend that had a ColecoVision.
I think Neil might have had one. I think he's mentioned that he had one.
Yeah, I'm trying to remember. I played Donkey Kong, and I forget what else I played. But yeah, buddy might have had that one. I never had that one. A lot of others, but that one.
So
okay, so moving on to the Atari.
No,
or the Nintendo.
So I have to tell you my story about how we got our Nintendo because I find it funny. My dad, he's not my biological dad, but he is my dad. Hands down, my dad. He's my superhero dad. I love my dad. He is a big kid, to say the least. My cousins, the ones I've already mentioned, used to get like everything and anything that they wanted. And one Easter, we had gone over to their house and they had a Nintendo. And my dad was sitting there one day and he was playing the Nintendo with my cousin. And he's like, this is really cool. He's like, Michelle, you should check this out. I'm like, what is it? He's like, it's a Nintendo. Look, you can play this game. So I sat there and I played it a little bit. I'm like, wow, this is really neat, Dad. So my dad and I started playing it. He's like, would you want one of these? Yeah. So we should get one. I'm like, yeah, we should get one. This is before, like, the Easter Bunny had showed up, you know? Like, we were there prior or something. No, something like we were there for Easter Sunday or something like that. So anyways, the next, we'd gone, we did the whole Easter thing for the family and everything, and we go home because they live a couple hours away from our house, and we're home, and then my dad goes, hey, Michelle. I'm like, what? And he goes, what do you think about if, for Easter, we get a Nintendo? What do you mean? He goes, well, it would be part your gift, part my gift. Like, you mean, like, we'd have to share an Easter gift? He's like, well, yeah. Do I still get, like, Easter candy and stuff? Yeah. Sure. Like, we already got my basket. What else do I care? And so, for Easter, I ended up with the Easter basket, and my dad and I both got a Nintendo. So he went and he bought a Nintendo, but I guess he had to like make it sound like it was like he was buying me a Nintendo for Easter, but it was part his gift too. But the funny thing about it is we fought like kids over that stupid Nintendo.
I can see that.
And it was like, no, it's my turn. No, it's your turn. And then he would get mad when he died. God damn it! This stupid thing, blah, 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 and my mom would be like, just turn it off, Bob. He's like, no, I can't, I gotta beat this level. And oh my goodness, he'd play for hours, and and now it's funny, now he plays his Xbox, and he's like the 100th person on the ranking of like Call of Duty, and he's really, really, really good at it, like super good at Call of Duty, but looking back at it, and he couldn't play the Nintendo Mario. And then he got so good at it, he'd be like, look, I've got 99 men, and I beat this, and I beat that. It's just hilarious. And I have such fond memories of playing Mario with my dad, even though we fought like cats and dogs over it. What about you?
I had the class, Mario. I loved Mario Brothers, Legend of Zelda, Metroid.
Duck Hunt. Yeah,
I bought my own. And then also I go to my friend's house, Billy, and his grandma. Talk about back to grandmas. His grandma he lived with loved playing. I think she loved playing the Zelda, Legend of Zelda. But she was always playing that or Super Mario Brothers.
Every time I hear Zelda, the theme song just plays in my head instantly.
But I was looking at the Wikipedia page for different games. Ninja Gaiden. I love that one. What else was there? There was a whole bunch of different ones. Q*bert, of course. Oh, that's what it was. The Adventures of Bayou Billy.
Oh, gosh.
In fact, I had a couple issue comic book on that one, too. I remember I bought just because I had played the game, and the game was enjoyable for what it was. I forget now, but yeah, there was a... Okay, no, it was also on the Nintendo-themed TV series Captain and the Game Master. But
so, question for you.
Answer.
Blowing on the cartridge, does it or does it not really work?
It works because I did it. I don't know. I've heard some say it doesn't. It seemed to work because it's just blowing the dust off is all you're really doing, make a cleaner contact. So in theory, I could see it working a little bit.
My cousins would lick it.
I don't know if that's going to have the resale value or anything.
I know. They'd be like, look at it. And I'm like, I'm not blowing on it now.
Sometimes we blow on it. Sometimes we use alcohol and drink it. I mean, we had to use alcohol.
Cotton swab it, yeah.
That way.
Yeah.
In the contacts, but yeah. I don't think we never licked it. That's beyond what we would do.
Yeah, my cousins would lick it. Would you blow inside the Nintendo as well?
I'd blow everything. Wait a minute, that didn't come out right. But yeah, I'd blow both the cartridge and the Nintendo machine.
Right.
I've seen some other things more recently saying that actually didn't do anything.
Right.
Seemed to work for me.
What did I see? I saw our daughter blow on something one time, and I'm like, what are you doing? She's like, but that's how you get it to work. How did you know that?
Genetics. It was passed down genetically.
I'm telling you. It was just ingrained in her. And I'm like, okay, I'm walking away.
Oh, back to what we talked about the Turtles. There was the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle video game.
I played that.
I enjoyed that. The first one, I played that one. I loved that one. Used to play that one all the time. And what was that other game?
I like Bubble Bobble or whatever it was.
Yeah, you used to love that one at the arcade. Bubble Bobble.
Mm-hmm.
That was a Super Off-Road we used to play all the time.
Excite Bike.
Excite Bike.
I loved...
I think that was an Atari game that I played it on.
Oh, I played Excite Bike on Nintendo. And the reason why I liked Excite Bike is because you got to build your own track. And that's what I loved the most about it. Because I would try to make the most horrific track known to man.
Gauntlet was another fun we used to play all the time.
Mm-hmm. What's the fun one?
Again, I don't remember seeing the G.I. Joe games for that either. Dragon's Lair. I don't remember the Nintendo one. I played that at the arcade. The Dragon's Lair. That was a fun one. Double Dragon. Used to play that one. Big Doug.
Yes.
Just scrolling through the Wikipedia list of different video games for the Nintendo. Had a Burger Time for that. I don't think I ever played that one. Anything else about the Nintendo?
No, not necessarily for the Nintendo. I mean, there was the SNES and all that, but...
Well, those came later, though. The Super Nintendo and all that.
Yeah, well, dude, I don't want to talk about that.
I was just looking. There, I guess also the Sega Genesis came out in '89. I didn't get one of those until
I didn't play
mid-90s.
I mean, I might have played I remember you could rent it from Blockbuster and
Blockbusters?
stuff. R.I.P. But I think I might have rented it once or twice and played Sonic or whatever. But
when I worked at Target in '92 or '93, they had one in the break room.
And I was in 8th grade.
So I ended up buying one for the house. I was married and I bought a Sega Genesis. We had Echo the Dolphin. But again,
I played Echo the Dolphin.
That was in the '90s when I got that, though. So
right.
That's again, even though it came out in '89, I didn't know about that, and I was still playing my Nintendo at that point.
I was in junior high.
I was also trying to see other game systems. I know there was other ones out there, but I don't remember offhand. What are
in the '80s? Was there the Game Boy? Was it Game Boy in the 80s?
I think the Game Boy came out the late. I want to say. I'm going to look real quick because I had a Game Boy at one time. Of course, I did. Nintendo Game Boy came out in April of '89.
89?
Oh, North America, July of '89.
Wow,
so it's
right on the cusp. Yeah.
Very end. See, I had one of the Game Boys.
My cousins had a Game Boy. I didn't have one.
Early '90s.
I'd have to beg to play it.
Of course. Was there anything else you want to mention? Video games, toys, board games at this point?
Just a couple other things I just had written down was the Snoopy.
Snoopy?
The Snoopy.
Never heard of Snoopy.
The Snoopy snow cone machine. Icy maker.
Never had one of those. Mother didn't love me.
Oh, malarkey. Pound puppies.
I remember the Pound Puppies again. That wasn't my cup of tea.
I didn't have one, but I know friends who had them. Back when I was little, the little people with the little toys, the little holes, the heads, the plastic ones. They're probably 70s, 80s, the little people.
Yeah.
I loved those as a kid. Of course, my roller skates, we already mentioned that. But the one thing I want to mention, because you have to mention it, out of toys in the 80s, wouldn't you say the McDonald's Happy Meal toys?
Between McDonald's and Burger King at the time.
Their toys were a hell of a lot better and were a hell of a lot funner then. We didn't have this whole boy-girl bullcrap, right?
Yeah, no, yeah.
I mean, I remember when your chicken nugget could they were Transformers or
the Halloween ones with the chicken nugget costumes.
Yes, or you got a cool bucket for Halloween.
See, I grew up in a small town. When I was a kid, we didn't get a McDonald's until '89.
Oh wow!
After I moved out.
Jeez.
I moved to Merced at that point, and they finally opened up a McDonald's in '89, I want to say. So to me, we got McDonald's. There was a McDonald's in Merced, which was about 20 miles away. Where we go to Merced or Fresno for something, that was a special treat.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, our kids, our son, 5-year-old, lives off McDonald's Happy Meals. When I was a kid, you had to get McDonald's or Burger King. That was a special treat because we had either one in our town.
Mm-hmm.
So we go to Merced, Merced, we have dinner at Merced, we go to McDonald's.
Right.
So, yeah, that was...
But I remember just as a kid, I loved getting their toys because... And my mom was a single mom, pretty much. And so I didn't get that often because it was more expensive. She had to really watch every penny she had. So I didn't get them that often either. But I just remember them being a lot cooler. They weren't just junk.
I hear a lot of it, though, is probably nostalgic. Some of the toys from the 80s, Dinosaurs, cute little creatures unique to Happy Meals from 1986. Pop Boys was in 84. The Ramen doll cloth doll was in 84. The Halloween pails, I guess.
That's what I just mentioned those.
I remember the Halloween pails.
I loved getting a Halloween pail where you decorate them with stickers and they glowed in the dark.
Stompers 4x4, I remember those.
And it's, to me...
Oh, I forgot about that. Sorry.
But I just remembered it wasn't Halloween until McDonald's had their Halloween pails. And they just recently stopped doing them. Yeah.
Oh, the Halloween.
Yeah, it's like within the last 5 or 6 years, but they just recently kind of stopped doing them, and I was really sad when they stopped doing them. What were you going to say? You were mentioning something you saw.
I don't know at this point.
You lost track?
Oh, Stompers. I forgot to mention Stompers when we talk about toys in general.
Oh, I don't know what those are.
Stompers were a little wind-up. I know it was battery-operated little trucks, little 4x4. And you put a little battery in it, and you change the chassis. Yeah, those were really cool.
I think I remember those.
Yeah, me and Dean and guys used to play with those all the time.
But I remember the chicken nuggets you could play with, or
that's what I was looking
the French fry toys. I mean, you should know that because you did that whole selling of McDonald's toys.
Yeah, that in the 90s, early to mid 90s, me and a buddy used to sell McDonald's toys, cups, the wrappers when they're special, and we'd go to toy stores, toys.
Conventions?
Yeah, not conventions necessarily, but
shows?
Toys, thank you, that's what I'm looking for. Toy shows. And we would sell the toys and the cups and just, everything. The Happy Meal displays. We'd get those and sell those. But the McDonald's toys were a big thing in the 80s. And like Burger King too, to a smaller extent.
I don't remember Burger King.
Burger King had toys too, but McDonald's was the more.
Maybe because I didn't really eat Burger King as a kid.
But I remember McDonald's had one of their Happy Meals. Their cart was a spaceship. I remember that one vaguely. No, don't remember that one.
I think so. Was it it turned into a spaceship?
No, the container itself was the like a tray. If you would go on it, was a plastic top that would sit on it.
No, I don't remember that.
See, now I got to Google and look real quick and see, because I remember the spaceship. If I think I'll post some pictures on the page for this also.
Yeah, we'll have to post some pictures of the My Child and that kind of stuff, the obscure stuff that we're talking about. Because
the food was inside the tray, and then the top piece would clamp on the top of it. Like a little spaceship you could play with.
That your food came in?
Yeah, you got an eating.
Oh yeah, because you really want the greasy food toy.
Yeah, see here, it's a little tray your food would sit on. Well, you clean it up, you wash it up, and then you can play with it afterwards.
Yeah.
No, don't give me that. That was really cool. There was a boat, same premise, like an old steamboat type thing. The top would pop off, your food fit in there, and then...
I faintly remember them, but that's just gross.
I mean, it's gross.
It's gross.
When you get done eating, clean it up and play with it.
Yeah, McDonald's is greasy, nasty.
Yeah, it's not that. Back in the 80s, it wasn't that bad.
Okay, sure.
Or it didn't get all over. I mean, Happy Meal boxes, it doesn't get all over. It's not that bad for the kids. If you get a quarter pounder or something, yeah. But, yeah, the little hamburgers and fries, that wasn't that bad.
Okay, if you're talking about Happy Meals, maybe.
Yeah, we're talking about Happy Meals.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it was your Happy Meal container at times. They'd have that. I remember those. Yeah, it came with little stickers. And you could put them on your spaceship. Here's one on eBay for $20.
Okay, I do remember those now. Okay.
See, yeah. I'm not crazy.
Well, I wouldn't put that.
I am, but not. There's Halloween buckets.
Yes, I remember the Halloween buckets. Those are my favorite.
Train. I don't remember the train one. There's a sub like that.
Well, I think that's going to conclude this episode of Retrospective of the 80s. Thank you for diving into our toy boxes as is. And we hope to hear from you guys if you have any questions or if you have any special toys out there that you would like to share with us. Send us some pictures or send us an email or a message. If we missed any of the toys that you guys feel kind of represent your childhood, we'd love to hear about it. Aaron, you have anything else you want to say?
No, you can send that to us at retrospect@headspeaks.com. Check us out. Like I said, the Facebook group. I'm going to be making comments and what have you on the the Headcast Network group. But I think that's going to do it for this time. I enjoyed talking about the toys and video games and board games of the 80s. So, hon, is there anything else you want to say before we close out?
No, but I think it's time we just clean up our toys and go home.
And that was another segment of Retrospective of the 80s. I think I've got one more episode that I need to finish editing down and playing in an episode of Head Speaks. And then I will be doing some brand new segments. What I'm thinking about doing is steal, again, as I do, steal from some better podcast. And I'm going to have a randomizer that'll pick a random year within the 80s. And then I'll look at something or either something from that era or that year that I really enjoyed, or maybe I will talk about the top cartoons and comics and toys and whatever from that year, movies, TV shows, whatever. We'll see how it works out. But if you guys have any suggestions or any thoughts on it, please let me know. I'd love to hear from you guys. But that's going to do it for this episode of Head Speaks. Join us next month when we continue with The Power of the Atom and maybe another retrospective of the 80s. Who knows what else I'll fit in there. As far as Power of the Atom, I've only got 3 issues to go, and it's a 3-issue, whatever you want to call it, a 3-issue storyline. So I'm debating on whether I want to do each issue individually or maybe just review them all as one story arc and just do it all that way. So I'm still thinking on that. If you have any thoughts, feel free to send me an email to head@headspeaks.com. Let me know what you think. If you like what I'm doing, pay us a visit at Patreon. That's patreon.com/headcastnetwork. Throw a few bucks in the tin, and you enjoy the wonderful people such as Gene Hendricks, and of course, the person that I'm giving this month's sponsored by to, Big Danny Cool. He's on the $10 plan, so of course, Danny is sponsoring in fact, I was just doing an episode of his choice, but since I've fallen behind on things and I've been kind of slacking here and there just due to my own personal problems. For the next month or so, I'm giving him sponsorship, I guess, on all of my episodes I release that I'm recording. So thank you, Big Danny Cool. Thank you, Gene. Thank you for everyone else that follows on Patreon. Thank you, all my listeners, both you guys. Let me know what you think about the show. Again, I'm coming up to the end of The Power of the Atom. I've got to decide what I'm going to do next. Again, there's a bunch of comic books, there's TV shows, a whole bunch of things I could look at, things I'm interested in. Anything you guys are interested in, let me know. I'm not sure who's listening to this still, but hopefully someone out there is listening, and let me know. Head@headspeaks.com, and let me know how I'm doing. You can call and leave a message on the Headcast voicemail line. That's area code 559-500-3182. Again, the Headcast voicemail line is 559-500-3182. Give me a call, leave a message. I can play it on the air. Send me an email to head@headspeaks.com. Visit the Facebook group, facebook.com/groups/Headcast Network. And I'm currently on working getting a website back up. I had headcastnetwork.com, but due to payment bill issues and problems of Gmail not showing me my emails like it should, long story there, the domain lapsed, and I too much of a cheapskate to pay the additional $80 they wanted to renew it, in addition to besides the actual renewal fee. So I'm thinking about setting Head Speaks back up as my main website again, but I'm currently working on that slowly. So definitely keep an eye out. Visit on the Facebook group. Send me an email. Send me a message on the phone. A voicemail, that's what they're called. Come on, Aaron. But until next month, that's going to do it for this episode. Join us on episode 77. I'm not quite sure what I'm doing on there yet. Again, either issue 16 of The Power of the Atom, or maybe I'll wrap it up and do all 3 in the 1 month. We'll see what kind of time I have and what I can fit in. Until next month, remember, Head has spoken. Thank you for listening to another fantastic episode of Head Speaks. Hope you enjoyed it. If so, let me know. Drop me an email to head@headspeaks.com or visit our home at head.headspeaks.com. You can also visit and talk with me on Facebook and Google+, both under Head Speaks. You can also send an MP3 file with your thoughts, and I can play that on the air. And you can also get more of me on my other podcasts. Be sure to listen to Task Force X, where monthly I look at John Ossinger's Suicide Squad and Paul Kuppenberg's Checkmate comics from the 80s and early 90s. Also, over on G.I. Joe, a Real American Headcast, my podcasting friends Ryan Daly and Kyle Benning, along with myself, are looking at all of the G.I. Joe, a Real American Hero comics, and related titles from Marvel and IDW. All of my headcasts are available on iTunes and Stitcher, along with the respective blogs and my main page at headspeaks.com. All comments, thoughts, and opinions expressed on Head Speaks are owned wholly by the speaker of said comments and do not express the opinions of Head Speaks, unless, of course, I'm the one making the comments. Head Speaks, Task Force X, and G.I. Joe, a Real American Headcast, are all part of the Headcast family. So join us next month for another wonderful episode of Head Speaks. Until then, I'll see you in the funny pages. Good night.